Félicitations. This is it. For drivers with a chance at magic in the Magic City. Ryan Truex, Sean Bounty, Jordan Jurassic, and Matt Cherry. Live in the 305, 25 weeks later. It all comes down to Miami.
Yeah, I'm first team, I'm a superstar, they call me Cream, like Abdul-Jabbar, yeah, you have to face it, let's get back to basics, I'ma take the shot like it's a vaccination, I don't have the patience, I'ma shoot right now, yeah, we undefeated, and you gon' lose right now, like click, 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 swish, I can switch it up anytime like this, I'm a videographer and I'm on the verse, so when I shoot my shot, I don't miss. I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot, take the shot, you know I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. Pull up and take the shot, take the shot, take the shot. You know I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot, take the shot.
Out of turn 3, Ryan Truex gets it done. He wins to advance to the Lightning 4 to battle for a championship. Move to the dark gate, Sean Bounty, a third-time winner. He wins at Darlington. Jordan Jurassic, welcome to the championship battle. Welcome to the Lightning 4. He wins it in Iowa. Matt Cherry, with his first win in almost 2 years, gets the PBS Incorporated throwback race for his trophy case.
You know I'm gonna take the shot, take the shot, take the shot.
The roads we've taken to get here. 56 starters, 25 races, but only one champion out of the Lightning 4. Tonight, we decide who picks up the 2023 title for the Thundercloud iRacing Series, presented by TLC Incorporated, and it all takes place from Homestead-Miami Speedway here on Grid Vision. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the championship race to decide who picks up the title. I'm Justin Prince, alongside me is Brian Britt, Austin Derbyshire producing, as we get ready to see which one of 4 drivers gets themselves a championship. Will it be Ryan Truex for the NASCAR Xfinity Series? Will it be Sean Bounty, Mr. Consistency? Will it be Jordan Jurassic putting in the JWoww? Or will it be Matt Cherry putting in the speed as of late? It's the question of who makes it through tonight, and it all takes place at a track well known for championship history, Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting one, and what a perfect venue to, definitely determine a champion. I mean, this is going to take, I think, really a lot of resource management, a lot of speed, and a lot of patience and willpower here tonight. Of course, the track temp right now, 93 degrees, and it's definitely a little bit hotter for right now, but I think this is going to be all about track position and all about saving tires.
And especially when it comes to the progression of tonight, a long race on hand, 200 laps around a 1.5 mile circuit. There's a chance for a lot of strategies to come into play. With just 4 tire sets available in the pits for tonight, there's so much to discuss on hand, but only 4 drivers could win the championship. Ryan Truex, Sean Bounty, Jordan Jurassic, and Matt Cherry. When it comes to Ryan Truex, he's the series leader in victories. When it comes to Sean Bounty, he's one of the top drivers when it comes to keeping up with the front. With Jordan Jurassic, he put in the wow as of late. And Matt Cherry, he's got 1 victory on the season, yes, but he's also been mighty consistent, especially with one of the most consistent final rounds to get into this position.
No, you're 100% right. That's definitely true. Cherry has, he's kind of the, I say, David versus Goliath in a lot of ways, the somewhat of the underdog for sure. So we'll have to see what that 67 can really do here. Of course, Jordan Jurassic has been the qualifier pretty much of the season. So I expect, believe if I'm not mistaken, he's going to be up at the top of the board here tonight as well. But it's going to be really difficult to keep that top spot, considering you're going to really have to play magic, I'd say, or have a miracle when it comes to strategy, considering how little sets of tires we have tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest question in a lot of people's minds tonight, because There are stages once again for the championship finale, laps 25 and 65. But how do you factor that in to make sure you're on the right strategy? Because we've seen how the strategies came into play at Michigan with a similar tire situation or 125 lapper at a 2-mile track. Not going to be as quite easy at Homestead, a track where tire wear can be big, even with the progressive banking.
Oh, it's definitely going to be very, very big. And from what I've been hearing from a lot of the drivers as well, it's very difficult to make speed on the bottom line, which is kind of interesting. I thought the bottom line at this track would be the place you'd want to go to try to save tires. So we'll have to wait and see if that's going to be the case. But from what I've been hearing from the majority of the drivers, it's the top line is going to be where it is going to be at. And that's going to make it really hard to pass if you're running the top line all the time.
Final warm-ups getting completed here on the track. Let's talk about what's coming up when it comes to Grid Vision in turn. For those tuning in, it's a busy week here on the channel. Just earlier this week, Sean Boundy picked up the first win in Grid Vision Super Speedway's history. That was on Monday. Champion competition got underway at Auto Club on Tuesday, all with NIS competition on Friday at Texas Motor Speedway. We see which driver at NIS Open does the Texas two-step. And don't forget, it's Texas two-step Sunday action. 2 races at Texas, the GRL, and a brand new series getting itself underway with Xfinity Series cars, the chase for the Kyloo Cup, all on Sunday as well here on Grid Vision. Just about getting set to go for tonight's festivities here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Tonight's action brought to you in part by TLC Incorporated, the premier service provider for lawn sprinklers, landscape lighting, drainage services, and garage makeovers with nearly 40 years of experience. In just one day, your home can become a showcase with new water-saving lawn sprinkler systems, energy-efficient landscape lighting system, or brand new garage makeover and floor that will last you a lifetime. Imagine all the possibilities if you gave your yard just a little TLC. Operating in the Maryland, D.C., and Virginia area, call it 888-PIC-TLC for more information. Just about set to go racing here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. And with the flash of the crowd, the stands are just about packed as we get ourselves set for a championship finale from Homestead. For the 10th time this season, it's Jordan Jurassic on the pole. He'll start alongside Ryan Truex. Sean Boundy starts off in third. Your top 3 drivers in the Lightning 4. Matt Garrett's in fourth, with Roger D. Bullitt in fifth. Justin Clapper, one of his best qualifying runs, comes late in sixth. Greg McConey, one of the drivers trying to place for much of the postseason, in 7th. Matt Cherry, the furthest back of those in the playoffs, in 8th. TJ Lee and Bo Condon, your top 10.
11th place, Anthony Burleson. Of course, 12th place, Brandon Schumann. 13th, Robert Walton. 14th, Joshua Corner. 15th, Damian Neeson. And rounding out this 16-car field is Kyle Newkirk. Talking about Matt Cherry, that he's going to be back in the kind of the Hornets nest. I would not want to be back there, but definitely love to see the top 3, of course, in the Lightning round, or the Lightning 4, I should say, starting up in 1, 2, 3. That's kind of to be expected. So Matt Cherry going to be hating that he messed up on qualifying here.
So drivers will have the chance to take a parade lap as part of the Championship 4. Again, 200 laps your distance tonight. That's more than 300 miles from Homestead-Miami. And with the drivers pulling forward, this is the sign that they get to say what they want to feel, and more so put the showcase on what to say about your championship drivers. Let's talk about first Jordan Jurassic. You talked about the qualifying speed. Jurassic picking up 3 victories in 2023. Last round, picked up the win at Iowa to get himself into the Lightning 4 for 2023. He also picked up 9 top 5s and 11 top 10s as part of the season, and in turn has shown lightning speed throughout the playoffs. He looks to thank the sponsors, as you see on the card tonight, on his Chevy Camaro. Now starting off alongside him is Ryan Truex. It's been a busy year for Truex. Not only has he won 8 times in Thunderclap and locked himself in with a win at Pocono Raceway at the beginning of the previous round, he also picked up a NASCAR Xfinity Series win at Dover Motor Speedway, his first career win at that level. In turn, he looks to cap off the night with a championship after 2 nights off. Matt Cherry enters tonight as the underdog. He scored himself in on points with the most consistent round out of anybody in that final grouping of the Dark 8, picking up a couple sixth-place finishes, in fact, 3 of them. The best of the top 10s, keeping the consistent marks out of those not with a win. With Sean Bounty, meanwhile, it's been a different look for him entering the week. He picked up a win at Daytona to start off the week in some momentum. But Sean Bounty has also been a key of consistency. When his 35 truck in cars have been up at the front, 12 top 5s and 20 top 10s in just 25 races entering the night. He advanced as well via points with a top 5 run at Michigan and a top 5 run at Pocono, despite an 18th place finish at Iowa in the middle of the dark 8. And just like that, all our drivers are organized and set to go. It should be a fun night. Your final thoughts as we get set to go.
I think it's going to be all about patience. I mean, I definitely think the most consistent driver is going to win this race here, as we're going to definitely get this thing underway.
We're all set to go. It's the start of the championship race. This is the Thunderclap finale here on Grid Vision.
And already side by side going into turn 1. Big moves from Sean Bounty. He tries to get above Jurassic. Can Jurassic hold him off? But Roger Diebold, non-playoff driver, already making some big moves, but it looks like the top side going to be the strong line out of turn 2. Big run from Bounty, side by side for the lead.
Bounty trying to make the outside work. Inside for Jurassic. He stays on the edge of the first seam to try and lead the first lap of the finale, but it's Bounty with that outside speed who leads the first lap. Now keep in mind, multi-groove racing, many drivers prefer that bottom line for the tires though. As you can tell, many people like the outside because isn't it fun to drive on the outside here?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, from what I've heard from a lot of drivers, the top side is just so much fun. And, of course, you want to stay about 5 inches from the wall. But I like what I'm seeing from Jurassic. He has done this before at other racetracks to where he kind of runs the bottom to save tires. But here comes Diebold trying to get to the inside, running even lower on the racetrack, as well as we see, I do believe, Justin Clapper fighting with Ryan Truex as well a little bit there. Actually, no, him and Clapper, or Garrett's fighting, actually, for that 5th place position.
Also heavy battling back there, all with Cherry trying to find some track position early. He's still behind all this in 7th position. And now he's looking to make those said moves. Garrett making it easy. Now making it easy as well in turn. Clapper, it looks like, on the outside.
Oh.
Already getting very tight, and you can see why people prefer the bottom here.
Yeah, Clapper definitely getting very tight. It's very easy to overdrive at this racetrack. I mean, this is one of the most difficult 1.5 miles I think we have on the NASCAR circuit. And, you know, it's because it's not like the other 1.5 miles where you can kind of drive it a little bit more flat out. This track has a lot more subtlety to it. You really have to, it's almost a lot like a Michigan or an auto club in a lot of ways.
That's an interesting comparison for a track that's been reconfigured a couple times. This was actually configured, remember, like Indianapolis, almost like a square, though. And then, of course, strategy struck in the 1990s. They changed the configuration to similar to what old Atlanta used to be and added the progressive banking in the 2000s. So, in turn, it's been putting on racing like this for 20-plus years. It's a fan favorite. Roger Diebold, he's put up strong runs in the next-gen car all year. He's up to 2nd past Jurassic.
And from what I've heard, that you're going to fall off about probably a little over a second here at this racetrack. Of course, this place tears tires up pretty substantially here. So I expect that this is going to get interesting. After stage 1 completes, I suspect a lot of these drivers are not going to take tires. They're probably going to pit just for gas, considering the fuel window is about 38 laps, give or take. But tires are definitely going to be something these guys are going to be holding on to with dear life.
Yeah, that makes the most sense when you think of the strategy. And with this being the championship race, not as much of a factor per se for the Lightning 4 for the stage points. You know, who's trying to play a factor? Ryan Truex. He's already on to 3rd. Cherry and Jurassic right behind. Jurassic losing ground in the short run already. But Ryan Truex already lost the ground a bit off the launch. Seems to be playing it a little bit patient here. As one of those with the most experience per se in the field. And of course, having a family member in the Cup Series like Martin Truex, but also a member in the family of Tyler Truex, who has experience in the early days of what's now the eNASCAR Coco iRacing Series 1 car off the track. That was Walton at the back.
Yeah, in the 66, he's still having problems. Big damage to the right side. Oh, this could possibly very easily be a caution.
That's a broken tie rod too.
Oh.
He's got to make it to the pit lane. We stay green as Kyle Newkirk avoids all of that down the backstretch in 3. And looks like Walton already with massive problems up at the front, though. Sean Bounty having the run go green so far. He leads by more than a second, and more bobbles. That's Garrett.
Yeah, Matt Garrett trying to make something happen. I love that race car. Matt Garrett, of course, in a little bit of a different scheme here. I think it's fitting for Miami. Kind of, definitely kind of a Miami kind of retro type of vibe to it.
After all, we are in Homestead-Miami. Very Miami Vice-like. A couple drivers taking inspiration to that. Robert Condon also doing the same, entering tonight. He's in 10th for reference.
That's unfortunate for Robert Condon, too, because we got to give him a lot of credit. Towards the later part of the season, he's been getting some very good runs. I mean, that 66 has looked very quick and very consistent. It's just unfortunate to see as we're going to take a look back at this accident with the 66, I do believe.
Condon's to 25, but you're talking about Walton. Yes, that's something that can happen a lot. You get loose off the corner of turn 2 so much here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was mistaken. I meant Walton for sure. But look at that. Wow, what a hit.
That almost ripped the entire right side off. That's not easy to have to handle in the first place. But already ending lap 10 early on in this championship race. Bounty still holding on to that cushion. Ryan Truex trying to close the gap to Diebold. And again, most people staying up top except for Jurassic. You have to wonder what the play is here. We kind of know what the play is going to be. But you can tell he's already thinking big picture here with it.
No, he definitely is. I just don't know if this is playing out well because, I mean, he is losing so much track position. I mean, he started this race on the pole. He's lost 3 seconds back to 8th place. He's got to be hoping that this really helps him on the long run. We're going to have to see if that's going to be the case as we see a battle for 5th place, McConey and Clapper.
And McConey making the pass there, so Greg McConey on the move. Now, this is also a special paint scheme tonight for McConey, but for a somber note. For those who may not know, this series previously broadcast by SRM. One of the broadcasters from that network, unfortunately, passing away earlier this month, Tony Trapazzo, from major health issues. He decided to pay tribute to the former broadcaster of this series and with SRM throughout tonight, as he was a personal friend to Greg McConey, who was involved in many races he respectively called, and also worked in the booth with Tony in the past. In turn, he was also able to meet up with him at this racetrack just a year ago to watch the races, and he pays tribute to him tonight as part of the final goodbyes to his broadcasting mentor, race friend, and fan. He says thanks for all the great memories and race calls, Tony. And in his memory, he used to sign off in every broadcast, as you walk down the road of life, ladies and gentlemen, remember, don't play in traffic. Well, remember, buddy, rest easy to Tony.
Yeah, definitely sorry for their, that loss there. Definitely gone too soon for sure. We do have a race, though, kind of going on for the 2nd place position. Ryan Truex trying to hold off. He was actually just got by Roger Diebold. Diebold has started falling off. Now look at Matt Cherry, though, the underdog, really showing that he's not the underdog. He's going to be one that has a really good shot here tonight.
He has shown good speed at the Cup tracks in particular. Remember, with the car tomorrow, that's really where he showcased his speed. Old Atlanta in 2008's Atlanta scan, should say. That was his best race, you can argue, all year in the 67. This track very much can drive comparatively to the feel of that, where you're slipping sliding on the long run with the low downforce.
That's a good point. That's a very, very good point. Because, I mean, that he was really good at managing his resources on the higher horsepower race car. So that's kind of interesting. We see somebody, I do believe, into the wall.
Kyle Newkirk and the 20 car. And one of the IMSA paint scheme throwback from a few weeks ago, electing to park it. Thankfully, no one else around. We stayed green. Let's take a look one more time. You can see hard contact with the right side. That breaking the tie rods on the left side. And that's enough to say, you know what? The car's not going to pull forward here.
Also seeing TJ Lee starting to move his way up through the field right now. That 7th place driver just got by, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jurassic and you see Matt Garrett starting to fall through the field. He had a really good qualifying effort. Unfortunately, it's just not performing in the race run. This is really showing that I think you could be fast on one lap here at Homestead, but if you're not fast over a longer run, you are going to struggle. And you can see the same thing with Jurassic. Jurassic's all the way back, almost falling outside of the top 10 right now.
Yeah, that car continuing to drop back. You see the bobble in the backdrop for a split second. For the most part, though, talking back to Lee, things have been solid indeed. Here's the look at Jurassic. And there was a lot of excitement for him advancing from that respective camp. He has experience in NASCAR competition technically through some of the console variety of games, through the now defunct NASCAR Heat Series. He competed in some of the summer showdowns back then. So, as he said coming into this week, we're back. Can he get himself back to the front eventually, though, is the question, as we're already almost done the first stage.
He's going to have to hope so. I think this is going to be a big learning experience for Jurassic. I think he might have to go back to the drawing board, to be completely honest, because I just don't feel – I mean, I think any other track that he had tried this to try to run that bottom to save tire, I think that would have worked. I just don't think Homestead is that track tonight, especially in this next gen. I think maybe in the truck, maybe in the Xfinity, but it seems like the next gen, it seems like it's at home on the top. As it looks like we got to change for second place. Matt Cherry now up to second, but of course he's got 1.2 seconds to get up to Sean Boundy.
So Cherry able to make the passes now to 1.4, in fact, after the pass. But they're running out of time in the first stage here. Things getting regrouped in less than 6 laps from now. Stage and at lap 25. By the way, Jurassic is still under attack for positions. If you notice the flickering on the pylon, then staying busy back there because it's Robert Condon who's now passing him at the top. In trouble in front, it's Garrett. Garrett slips around the track. Jurassic avoids. Garrett spins. Caution flag is out. Our first Eagles Woods Creations caution of the night.
Wow, what a spin there for the 3. I mean, he was trying his best to save it, but it seems like once these cars let go, it's just impossible to save them. And I'm wondering how bad the damage is going to be on that race car as we take a look back.
It doesn't look like he hit the wall. It's more so, how bad are the tires going to be from this slide if he elects to have to keep the set?
I think he's going to have to. I mean, just considering how much of a resource these tires are. But luckily, he did not hit anything. But I guarantee you, those tires are scorched after that.
A massive slide indeed from Matt Garrett. And so, Garrett, one of the E-Tower Truex racing machines, going around, you can already see in the midst of the overcorrect coming in. It took a while for him to spin it around, to put it politely.
Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of surprised that they even brought a caution out. I think it was close to it not coming out, considering he had kind of spun down onto the track. But, of course, that overcorrection, him going back onto the track is what caused it.
But that is the racing surface, keep in mind. Yeah. But we have some pit strategy. Jordan Jurassic for the Lightning 4 has come in for the top off. This is not the stage, remember. So everyone else likely to come in anyway in a couple laps' time. So that might be a smart play from Jurassic with everyone likely coming in for fuel next caution.
No, this could be a good way to get track position back. And if he was successfully running that bottom line and it was somehow saving his tires, and then this second stage, he can kind of drive it a little bit harder. I mean, this could work out well for him. I mean, because it really just depends on after this stage, do these guys take tires? I mean, I think that you're kind of forced to not.
Exactly. And one thing of note, and originally this race was scheduled the previous week, that in turn opened up a lot of practice time for drivers. Of course, JWell has a lot of fan base movement because he also technically has an esports organization on top of the team he's with in this respective series. Guess who turned 2,000 laps in preparation for just this race in the past week plus?
I'm assuming Jordan Jurassic.
He turned more laps than they do in an eNASCAR Coca-Cola race these days, unless it's the finale. He absolutely treated it like it was the Coke Series finale.
Yeah. I mean, he knows what he's doing. I mean, every time I've ever doubted Jordan Jurassic, he's definitely surprised me. So I also got to love what it says on the side of that race car. It says, "Thank you, sponsors." You got to just love that. It means a lot to him that, there's so many organizations that believe in that driver.
There he is back there. This call, I'm going to shuffle him up to the front. Several of those sponsors you see on the side, lots of them as main sponsors, some of them up on the side doors, some of them up on the T-post, some of them on the TV panels. He's gone through a lot of looks, and he's also backing several of his teammates. John Freeman, you may notice, not on the track tonight. He's a part of the D&K Management Incorporated, respective sponsors that get back to the racetrack, giving them the exposure towards this finale here to add to that number all across that car, because without, well, the sponsors, sometimes it's hard to get to the track in the real world counterpart.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I think we take that for granted here in iRacing. Looks like pace car lights, I do believe, going off this time by, of course, Sean Bounty deciding to choose the top side here. Of course, Bounty rocking a little bit of a different paint here tonight as well. We saw, I do believe, the debut of this paint scheme, kind of a little bit of a sneak peek on that Monday night in the Super Speedway series, that new series that we just started.
Yes, indeed. And remember, he was one of those who kept it patient and clean until the late stages. Still haven't figured out per se what the paint scheme is mainly themed to, but if this different look brings some success, what can you say? It's hard to change the look if you win a championship in this type of paint, in a paint scheme, to change the color from the championship scheme. Apparently, it may or may not be Star Wars themed.
It could very well be. I don't know. But, I mean, I know it's gorgeous. I'll tell you that. It's gorgeous. I mean, you got to give them credit. I love that yellow and grayish kind of look to it with the blue kind of accents to it. It's really good. It's really, really pretty paint scheme. And if it is Star Wars, then heck, let your nerd flag fly, man.
Well, this is going to be a very quick end of the stage. Coming out to start lap 25. End of stage at this end of lap. One lap shootout for the stage. We're back on our way.
I think Sean Bounty made a really good decision to drive it, kind of start from the top side. But here comes D-Bolt. He's going to see if he can't drive it in deep on the entry. I don't think it's going to help because Bounty, of course, is going to get the run on exit.
Having a clear on by, some shuffling on behind. Some drivers still fighting for points in the overall standings who have been eliminated for the action. Here they go on the outside. D-Bolt trying to get to the quarter panel, can't. Roger D-Bolt holds on to second as Sean Bounty comes across the line to end lap 25. Up at the head of the field to end stage 1. Matt Cherry is in third. Ryan Truex finishes the stage in 5th. And Jordan Jurassic lost several spots at the end of the stage and dropped to 13th. A part of your Lightning 4 drivers. But take a quick break. We come back. We'll talk about what to expect for stage 2 here on Grid Vision.
SRI Performance. With over 400 product lines representing the top manufacturers in motorsports, we are your one-stop shop for everything racing. 3 of our brick-and-mortar stores are located in North Carolina, and our newest facility in Brownsburg, Indiana. And 4 trackside mobile stores, you can find us spread out throughout the nation. With industry-leading knowledge, we are only a phone call away to visit our customer service experts. And don't forget, we have the world's largest inventory of used race parts. SRI Performance, and stock car steel and aluminum for everything racing.
Hey, Bob Carr here at TLC. Take a look at some of the specials we're running at TLC right now. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Storms are in the forecast, so if you have a problem with water standing in your yard, in your basement, now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. We'll be glad to provide you with a free, no obligation drainage proposal for your property. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342 or hit the link below. We'll respond back to your email, set you up for a free, no obligation quote for your drainage needs. Let's solve that once and for all. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Now's the perfect time to have your landscape lighting system tuned up for the upcoming summer months. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342 and let's get you some light out there. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's take it down to the booth and get updated on what's going on.
Welcome back, everyone, to Grid Vision for more coverage of the Thunderclap iRacing Series Championship Race, presented by TLC Incorporated. Tonight's action also brought to you in part by Eagleswood Creations. Eagleswood Creations is your one-stop shop for your laser engraving needs, from wood to acrylic, custom signs, earrings, keychains, coasters, and much, much more. Located in West Creek, New Jersey, but shipping nationwide. Items can be purchased and custom made via Etsy or through their website at eagleswoodcreations.com. Follow them today on Etsy, Facebook, and Eagleswood Creations on Instagram. Just got updates in from Jordan Jurassic's camp, and he elected to come down again, and guess what? He's got damage. Reason being, contact with Brendan Schumann on pit entry after coming in a second time after coming in the previous caution.
Yeah, it looks like he's coming back down again to possibly get some more damage repair. That is a heartbreaker right there. Also, we got some guys that were a little bit of a mixed bag on strategies. Roger Debo took tires. TJ Lee took tires. So those drivers look to see them drive through the field. But then again, I just do not understand the strategy of taking tires this early. I think that the tires are just such a limited resource.
That is a concern indeed, and a bigger concern. You see the word pit for Jurassic. He's lost a lap. So if we can get the chance to view that, that could be a critical point in his championship. Contact with the 52 on entry the reason again. Both of them are off the track coming up to the restart to start lap 31.
Oh my goodness, that's something we definitely clearly did not see, and that is wow, cannot believe that happened.
Can confirm the reason is with the barrels at least. And for those who do not know, that is a set of barrels with championship implications as far back as 2004. Kurt Busch, if you remember, losing the tire, nearly hit the barrels, but still won the championship because he missed the barrels by just a foot. Now Jurassic has to come back from one lap down with 170 laps to do it. So it's Bounty and Garrett, 1 and 2. Garrett starts off on the outside in control for the TLC restart zone, back underway for stage 2.
Definitely a good start there from Matt Garrett, able to kind of pull away from Ryan Truex. Of course, Truex trying to hold off Bounty here. All of these drivers, for the most part, are on old tires. Surprised we didn't see a whole lot of wheel spin.
Even a patient for now. Remember, Debo DeMunzo's on fresh tires along with Lee. So expect them to be able to fly. The tire fall off can reach as high as 2 seconds here. Cherry nearly into the wall.
Yeah, I saw Clapper as well get into the wall right behind him. It's very easy. This is a track that is very easy to follow somebody into the wall, especially when you're on old tires and on a restart. A lot of times you're doing these restarts, you kind of feel like Superman, but when you're on old tires, you definitely do not fire off near as good or have the handling as Roger Debo trying to make that bottom side work. Of course, he falls in right behind Cherry, not quite able to make it happen.
No change there. In fact, Diebold still trying to make that bottom side work. But McConey nearly losing some grip on the top. That opens up the door for Cherry to try and make the swap in the next level machine. The other teammates, Ryan Truex up front for the lead inside. He's trying to make it work on the first seam. Gets it done with 3 wide for second.
Look at Roger Debold on these new tires. I mean, he is driving past these guys like they're in completely different kind of. They're in go-karts and he's in a NASCAR car apparently. He is moving right now, and he is, I think, going to take the lead uncontested.
Quickly done indeed, but the battle's on for second amongst the Lightning 4 drivers. Bounty up on the inside, Truex on the outside. Bit of contact to the backdrop with Justin Clapper clapping the wall. But now the fresh tires of Depot to control the stage likely. Bounty quickly to second as Truex lets off.
And here comes TJ Lee as well. He's on fresher tires. He's about a half a second faster than the rest of these drivers. Looks like he's going to get clear of Matt Garrett here and move up to 4th place. Garrett getting tight. Oh, almost contact between him and Cherry.
Cherry trying to pull back the E-Tower Truex driver. Now getting pulled back a little bit by Garrett. Still clears on by. So Cherry just 1 spot behind. Bounty and Truex just behind TJ Lee, in fact, as Lee tries to make some passes work. Now, we talked a little bit about the speed of Cherry. Let's take a look at the quick replay, though. This is the trouble for Jordan Jurassic. Looks okay, right? Right.
Yeah.
Well, you see them go into the pit stop service. The hearing was with the barrels on that entry. So let's take a move back
a little bit earlier here, because I kind of looked back at this myself, and I think, yeah, we saw Schumann hit the barrels in front of Jurassic here.
And here it is on the entry. Looks good. Still looks good, and still not sure if they were talking entry or might have been the exit. If we look past the stop, that's a good question. This was per race control that told us this information. We'll try and see if we can find the exact location as soon as we can.
Yeah, just unfortunate either way. I'm pretty sure it was just a big surprise on the entry to pit road there. From what I looked back at it, it was just something Jurassic really couldn't avoid. As Roger Debold pulls away 0.8 of a second now on Sean Bounty. Bounty, of course, taking care of business here tonight. Been really liking what I'm seeing with that 35. And think about that. He won in that first race of the week. And I think that might have a lot to do with this. I mean, I kind of had a feeling that would be a confidence booster.
You're right on the money in terms of that, it seems. And looking very comfortable up on that top groove as Lee tries to take away second on track. Now, again, giving credit to Lee in terms of that speed we're talking about. That crew has had some ups and downs, a lot of downs at some points. But tonight seems to be doing well. They've been consistent on some of the bigger tracks. Him and his spotter, Todd Lee. And in turn, some of that work showcasing tonight. Let's take a look at the replay once again. This is the one we were looking for. This is lap 26, just after the stage caution. So now, keep an eye on this. This is the entry we're talking about. And right there, you see the fake out? Right there. Just that small hit there is enough to add more than a lap's worth of damage. Another car in the backdrop also joined suit, but kept going.
I think that was a visibility issue because Schumann got faked out and couldn't see those barrels. And unfortunately, Jurassic did not have enough time to react, as we see Lee, of course, challenging for the second place position. But yeah, I'm glad we found that replay. That's going to have championship implications. Jurassic's now 2 laps down. Started from the pole. I mean, his heart has got to be absolutely broken at this moment.
There's Jurassic. He's just lost a second lap too, Brian. And with contact like that, that can break your motor. And here's the tough part. You need several cautions to fix the motor. Battle is on behind them. Clapper for 6th.
And I doubt we're going to see enough cautions to get him back into this fight. And that's just, it's sad. It is. It truly is just a heartbreaker. Of course, we have a lot of racing left to go. And a driver like Jurassic, I mean, he is championship level.
Oh my
driver.
goodness, near contact between them and Jurassic. Greg McConey having to dodge hard to avoid Jurassic's car. And we stay green just barely as Garrett drives by at least one of them.
Yeah, it was getting a little bit crazy right there. I was just getting ready to say I don't think we're going to have a caution, but I think they were trying to prove me wrong.
Extremely dicey, to say the very least. Meanwhile, the Lightning 4, for now at least, or potentially, is the Lightning 3. Boundy, Truex, and Cherry all together on the track. This is right where they need to be if they want to win this championship. Stay close.
No, 100%. I think Bounty's looking really good. Truex. I mean, they're all three of those drivers seem like they're very close on pace. So, and I think it's going to come down to one little mistake. I think that in order to win this championship here tonight, you know, you have to be perfect. You have to literally be perfect.
Pixel perfect, if you will, if you want to become a champion. Lee, meanwhile, is not being pixel perfect all of a sudden, so the commentator's compliment jinx comes into play. So we'll see how things play out. I will say Lee and company did have some good spirits entering the finale on the season. They gave some well wishes to the drivers, especially those in the championship. But the response in the meme form was, "I like turtles." I don't know what that means, but I hear that a lot. Outside of liking turtles.
Yeah, I mean, and we talk about Lee kind of struggling right now on the newer tires. D-Bolt is as well. Something's going wrong with D-Bolt as well. I mean, last time by 34.5, he was slower than the new tire driver. So I don't know if maybe he pulled away too far. But, I mean, it seems like that even on these newer tires, that there's a chance that you could burn them up and be worse than the old tires if you do it wrong. I mean, it's so easy to overdrive here and cook them. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing from the 38 and 46.
That's the amazing thing to me is if you push so hard to get to this point, I don't know what you can really say outside of you're in clean air. If you're Roger Diebold, there's no reason to majorly push away. You've got the advantage for at least the first 10, 15 laps. But look at the difference. He is struggling on speed. He just lost 3/10 in one corner on the top.
I think a lot of that has to do with that he pushed so hard to try to get by those other drivers. I mean, the amount of momentum he was carrying through the corners whenever he was passing all those drivers was just crazy. And, you know, I think he's paying for it now. I mean, one thing that I have always heard, and I think it rings true in iRacing, is the first 5 laps of a run are the most important on the tires. If you abuse those tires in the first 5 laps, you're going to pay the price later. You're never going to get those tires to behave again like they did early in the run.
Still less than 20 laps away from the end of the stage for those keeping track. Boundy, Truex, and Cherry still holding firm in terms of their spots. You still have Burleson, who's also making some small strides, I will say, in the 79. He's now mixed into the fight between McConey and Clapper. Now, when it comes to the 79 machine, Mr. Burleson, also known as Tony, and Anthony, still able to keep some solid speed in the midst of the campaign for Mid-Pack Motorsports. He's been a driver who's been able to run around the top 10, around the middle of the field in the top 10.
He's running some of the quickest laps right now on the racetrack. This is kind of curious. He spent 10 seconds in his box about 20 laps ago. I think that's a 2-tire stop. There could be some validity to that. A 2-tire stop at Homestead might be a good call.
Curious about the late stages, though, in terms of that. In terms of the tire set breakdown. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Coming up now, lap 49. Just looking solid still when it comes to all this. Ryan Truex continuing to have a very busy past couple weeks, especially with the talks of what's going to happen next year in the rear world schedule. I have to wonder what's on the mind when it comes to the 56 machine coming into tonight with everything coming into this championship fight as well for Thunderclap.
Yeah, I'm sure his mind is probably more on his real-life career for sure. I mean, this is, of course, this is important to him, I'm sure. But, I mean, he definitely wants to make sure he's got a job and a ride next year. And I think he will be, you know, will have one. I mean, he's very talented, a lot like his brother. You know, I expect he'll probably be in a good machine. I hope so, at least, and definitely are we give him a lot of well wishes up here in the Grid Vision booth, because I mean we can see his talent even in the virtual world here.
Yeah, he's been very patient, very calm in this type of a race so far, knowing what's at stake. Take a look at Cherry and the SRI ride. And since SRI had that backing in a race earlier this season, he's been really sporting those SRI colors in the races, trying to give themselves a championship run throughout this campaign.
Yeah, I mean, Cherry has had some phenomenal runs this season. I mean, he's been, like you've mentioned it before on top of the broadcast, just very consistent driver. I've seen him in other leagues as well, and it's got to be a confidence booster for him, just to be able to come out here and be able to, fight toe-to-toe with a Ryan Truex. And, definitely, phenomenal job from him, for sure. He definitely earned his way into this title hunt, and it's an accomplishment in and of itself. I think it's almost like winning the championship itself to get into the Final Four, the Lightning Four.
It takes a lot of luck. It takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of speed in that regard. Just received word of an apology coming over from Brandon Schumann to the Jordan Jurassic camp. They do say the factor of that was the fake out that we were talking about. Jurassic is still 2 laps down as a result of the incident. They said, according to Schumann, nowhere to go. Again, that coming over from the Schumann camp as Jurassic is at risk of falling a 3rd lap down with the pace.
Yeah, that's got to be just plain old heartbreaking, especially that's just not even his fault. But, I mean, that's just the nature of racing, though. I mean, racing, the racing gods giveth and the racing gods taketh away. And sometimes you just end up in the wrong spot. And that's kind of what happened to Jurassic there. And Schumann, I guarantee you didn't mean to do that. He just could not see that driver in front of him was faking him out. And I'm not even sure who that actual driver was. Don't want to really highlight or put a spotlight on that driver, but I guarantee you they're feeling bad, and I'm guaranteeing you whoever it was, Jordan Jurassic's not sending any Christmas cards to that driver. He's not going to be remembering their birthday. So I think we're going to take a look back at it again here, maybe.
Yep. This one more time, just for those tuning in, this is the situation involving the 6 machine. 3 drivers still in contention for the championship. Jurassic at risk of losing a 3rd lap because of this fake out. Brandon Schumann did not see the pit wall. Jurassic makes contact and also ends up collecting a 3rd driver. That was enough to end the contention for Jurassic with motor damage. Schumann out of the race from that incident. And Jurassic is just about at risk of losing the 3rd lap with Roger Diebold just close behind.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. And, that's going to be a replay that I guarantee you Jurassic's going to look back at it multiple times for sure. He's going to have that one in the memory banks as well. And I just hope that it doesn't cause him to lose motivation to pursue another championship this next season. Because, I mean, Jurassic, he's a championship-level competitor.
Especially with what he's done throughout the season. And to get the charge after the win early, having some time to try and break through for the 2nd. He did so a couple times in the playoff. So now, less than 10 laps in the stage to go. Diebold now has 12 in the lead lap. He has just lapped Jurassic a 3rd time. But that gap for the lead between him and Lee is almost gone. The others have fallen back to where they were running before, about a 2nd plus back of the leaders. But Lee has kicked it up.
Yeah, definitely. TJ Lee's starting to show a lot of pace. He's hitting the lap, the fastest lap of the competition that last time by. Also, Ryan Truex is starting to struggle. 34-7 out of that camp there in the 4th place machine. But I mean, even Bounty, I think a lot of these drivers are really starting to hit that point to where the cars are probably driving awful. You got to think that these guys had that stage 1 caution, did not pit for tires. They got gas, did not take tires. They have got to be just hating life right now on these bald tires. But somehow, I mean, they're still going. I mean, they're still going strong, and the lap times that they're hitting are not that truly far off of what the guys on newer tires were hitting. you know, Diebold. I mean, it's not that, I don't know, last time Diebold actually hit a really fast lap, but about a half a second, though, difference in lap time from like Matt Cherry, Garrett, Boundy, and Diebold.
That's what can happen when you have a difference of 25 laps in the tires, you can argue. But coming up to 6 to go in the stage. Looks like Cherry wanting to maybe set things up on Truex to get some track position before those stops. Not close enough yet. You can almost see, though, how tight it is to get up at the wall. It takes so much practice just to run the wall like they can in the real world. Truex obviously has that experience to be able to find that aero bubble that's been worked on so much by iRacing 2, and that's why, in turn, the top works in the super speedways better compared to last year's. But in regard to that too, it also takes a lot of, well, experience to make sure you don't stuff your right front fender into the wall the second you try it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, these guys had to prepare for this, and it was kind of a good thing that they had that week off last week, you know, to be able to kind of get prepared for this, to have a little more time to spend out on the racetrack. And, you know, it seems like it's paid off. I mean, these guys definitely looking very, very sharp at the moment. Of course, we saw Cherry trying to make something happen on Ryan Truex. I think Ryan Truex saw that coming and decided, nope. He started pulling back away from him.
Cherry now trying to counter, nearly hits the wall again. And while they're giving more space in 1 and 2 for that wall, again, this is almost the line of, how do I put this? The Kyle Larson line that so many people like to talk about. It was to the point where about a year or two ago, remember, people were taking to Twitter to ask Kyle Larson himself, how do I run this line to make sure I get the line you're running without hitting the wall and knocking your car's fenders in? And Truex is the perfect example of how you take the line. Just about maybe nearly to the point where you can fit a paper in between it, but not to the point where your car's in the wall. Cherry's taking the safer approach here as we approach the final few laps here. You see the small little arc to keep it away from the wall, keeps about a quarter of a car length. Some could argue that loses you some time, potentially, because you don't have that side draft off the wall.
No, and I think Ryan Truex is just showing experience. Like, he's used to, in real life, running that close to the wall. So, and that's a big difference. When you're, look at that, I mean, look at the run he's getting on Boundy right now. This is huge. He is, and it's just because of how close he's getting to that wall. Something about that is almost giving him a speed boost, if you will, and he's inches off of it. You can even see Boundy's not exactly as close. And I think that's just showing that Ryan has that experience.
Not able to make any moves quite yet. Coming up to the 1 to go in stage 2. That'll be the RL Productions 1 to go in the said stage. Clapper taking 9th away, coming up to the final lap of the stage. But Roger Diebold, he did have some pressure a couple times from TJ Lee. Lee's tires also falling off the cliff at the end. But Diebold, what can you say again? Once the tires really got into form, he went from losing time to picking back up time by 5 seconds to those little tires.
That's interesting. I think that he was kind of playing a cat and mouse game. I think that he knew he was pulling away too far. He kind of backed it off to not pull away as much. I mean, Diebold's always been a driver that's been really capable of saving tire.
Green and white checker taken by Diebold, Lee, Boundy, Truex, and Cherry. Garrett, McConey, Burleson, Clapper amongst the top 9. Eagleswood Creations caution flag comes out. There's a look at that race for 9th and 10th. Joshua Corner rounds out said top 10. Your Lightning 4 championship contenders running 3rd, 4th, and 5th, who are those on the lead lap. Jurassic is running 14th, 3 laps down. One more stage to go to decide a champion, and it's the long one. You're watching Grid Vision here from Homestead-Miami Speedway and iRacing.
Eagleswood Creations, your one-stop shop for wood, acrylic, custom engravings such as signs, boards, earrings, and much, much more. You can follow them today on Facebook, Instagram, or you can check out their website, eagleswoodcreations.com.
You're not alone.
Hey homeowners, you're going to drag your hose through the yard in 2023? There's a better way to water your lawn. TLC Incorporated has been installing custom and professional underground lawn sprinkler systems for over 38 years. Our team would be happy to come out to your property at your convenience and provide you with a free, no obligation quote for a new custom underground lawn sprinkler system for your home. No more dragging the hose. No more dry and dusty patches in your yard. Our smart lawn sprinkler systems will efficiently provide water to your lawn all season long with a healthy green grass from your front yard to your back. Click the blue Learn More button below and the team at TLC can start building the perfect lawn sprinkler system for your home right away. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's throw it back to the guys in the booth.
Welcome back to Grid Vision for more coverage of Thunderclap Racing Series. Presented in part by RL Productions, a Baltimore-based national video marketing agency specializing in video marketing solutions and commercial advertising. RL Productions offers custom brand strategies tailored to your company or organization's unique goals with in-house level attention to detail. RL Productions also offers complete international event solutions for your conference and convention needs with both on-ground and live stream production capabilities. Visit rlproductioncrew.com to turn your expectations into real-life productions. For those curious, the RL Productions car is running 10th. But after pit stops, here is how your respective championship runners are running in the Lightning 4. Second place is Sean Boundy with Roger Diebold leading. Boundy picking up some time in the pit stop window over Lee. Same can be said for Matt Cherry, who's in third. Now Lee is now the car between the rest of the championship favorites as Ryan Truex dropped to fifth after pit stops. And Jordan Jurassic is still getting his car fixed 3 laps down now, at risk of losing more laps if he doesn't get back going in the next few moments. So stage 3 breaks down like this. As the one-to-go signal pops up on the iRacing pace car, 130 laps. How does that break down strategy-wise, Brian? This is for the championship, this stage.
Well, I do believe 38 laps. I mean, a fuel window. So, I mean, I think these guys are probably going to end up having to pit probably 3 more times, I would assume. So, yeah, I mean, and we only have, I do believe, 3 sets of tires left for the majority of the drivers. So, I think that's going to pretty much even out, pretty much, except for Roger Diebold. Roger Diebold, I thought he might not take tires that last stage caution, or this stage caution, I should say. He did, and so that means he only has 2 sets left, Justin. So that's going to be kind of curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that respective call in terms of the tires, but we'll see if the math adds up by the end of things. If someone can stretch the fuel tanks out as the run extends. But now, 130 to go as we head to the TLC restart zone. Diebold choosing the bottom. Bounty the first, the championship runners up on the outside. Back on our way from Miami.
Yeah, another good launch there from Diebold. I think he's going to be able to get that lead secured here on Bounty. Now, of course, even if Diebold wins this race, it's all about which of the Lightning 4 finishes the, at the front, essentially like that. I mean, all the Lightning 4 could finish at the back of the pack. It just depends on who's the first Championship 4 driver.
Bounty currently still the first of those. Cherry trying the outside. Ryan Truex trying to make some moves again on the inside. He gets alongside Bounty for a moment, but it's Cherry getting by to hold on for second spot on the Lightning 4 drivers list.
Yeah, and of course, you could see Ryan Truex tried to go to the bottom. He did not have much help. Now, even though this is not like a track that you would really push someone around, another driver, it still does help to have strength in numbers. And Ryan just did not seem to have that. So that puts him back to fourth. I'm surprised he didn't lose more positions than that. As, of course, I do believe he's going to have to battle possibly with McConaughey. Now, I talked to Greg McConaughey before this race a little bit, and he said he means business. I think he wants to win this race, and then, of course, in honor of, his lost friend.
There he goes on the inside. And remember, all playoffs long. Ever since he got eliminated, he's been trying to play spoiler. That nearly played spoiler to his chances to play spoiler tonight. He still holds on to the grip, though. But was about to say, he said himself, after getting eliminated from the opening round of the postseason, the pressure was off to try and make the rounds. It was about trying to get the wins, and he's nearly come away with several wins since that respective moment. He's raced better out of the playoffs than he was in it.
That's not a surprise to me. It's not really a surprise. I mean, I think that a lot of times when that pressure is kind of off, you perform at your best because a lot of times you overthink things when you're always thinking about points and things like that. Just come out here and have fun, and a lot of times you perform a lot better when you're having fun. As we see, Ryan Truex into the wall. That's going to give TJ Lee the position. This is huge. Ryan Truex losing several spots.
That fender looks okay, but the track position not so much. We stay green, and that's the one risk you run from running so high up. You make that mistake. What did I say? You put the fender in the wall.
Yeah, and he had been doing so great at running that, before that last stage. And I think a lot of probably what that is he had been on the old tires for so long. He got used to how that car was handling on the old tires. And when he put new ones on and tried to run that wall, it was just a little bit more difficult to stay off of it. I mean, it changes. The older tires change the way you have to drive it. And I think he just was not accustomed to the way it was handling.
Up in the front, though, Roger Diebold, despite what the ticker says, it's not a pit lane. He's running away from everybody still by about 0.4 of a second. And he's doing so using that bottom groove. Let's take a look at the replay meanwhile. Here's a look from Ryan Truex. And here's the big factor, too. Dirty air can also come into play here.
No, you're exactly right. Look at that. Just
up the cushion.
Yep. Just unfortunately, didn't even hit the wall hard at all. Just kind of scraped it just enough for it to slow him down. And once that wall grabs you, Justin, it does not let go very easily either. I mean, it wants to hold on to you like it's got a magnet on it.
Yeah, it's not going to give you the Ross Chastain move here at Homestead.
Not at all.
On Bounty trying the outside, still trying to keep up with the 38. But again, the reason I keep discussing drivers prefer the bottom, around that edge of the first seam. And while the preference for many is they love the top in terms of how it feels, and why some people like to have the set in turn with the fixed set built to the top, in the Coke Series races, the bottom side's been the popular line because of the tire save effect with the groove, with the version 7 tire model. Is this a sign, I'm wondering, though, with so many people doing better on top most of the time here, does this factor in for the Coke Series finale next week, maybe? And a sign of what this track has now had a change of entering the championship week next week for that series.
It could, but then again, I mean, if that is an open setup series, this is the fixed. So, I mean, I'm not. I mean, a lot of the Coke Series drivers are going to be able to set their car up specifically for running the bottom to save tires. But I am noticing that it actually seems to be somewhat of a viable approach to run the bottom here right now, because Diebold's been doing it a lot, and it seems like it's working.
We talked about Jurassic doing it, likely to save for the second stage before everything went also wrong. He's been doing it also right, it seems. He's still changing it up, yes, to go top to bottom in some of the corners. But you see that lift point, get to the arc, get to the edge of the line. In fact, he's going underneath it, getting to the white line he prefers. And you see that difference on time. It's enough for half a second to a couple, maybe a little bit in terms of tenths-wise. That is better tenth-wise than it is running the top.
Yeah, and I love this this approach. He's running the top in 1 and 2, and he's running the bottom in 3 and 4. So alternating it, I like that. Considering, I mean, a lot of time when you run the top, it kind of makes you, it changes the handling of the car, and when you start to, let's say, get looser or tighter, you can kind of change back to the other line to kind of balance that tire wear out.
It's a good point, but also the ability to have that adaptability. Because you talk about setting up an open set to run, say, specific at the bottom or specific at the top or all that. But the fixed side, you're driving what it basically feels like. Or rather, how it's built, congratulations, you better be able to adapt. The thing is, it's kind of showcasing the differences you can have with the same setup on the track as Cherry scrubs the wall.
Cherry was making a big run up to Bounty, and unfortunately, I think he got a little too greedy there. And here comes Greg McConey, I think, to try to pick up the pieces. Fortunately for Cherry, it was not near as dramatic as when Ryan Truex hit it.
Yeah, just a quick scrub. In fact, he didn't lose much time to Bounty at all. And it looks like his teammate McConey goes back in the line. So McConey doesn't elect to make the pass. If anything, he's even closer than the last scrub.
Yeah, I mean, he did a good job to recover from that. He did lose a little bit of time, and we lost a couple, like a tenth or so. Oh, Matt Garrett, huge run up to the back of McConey. I think Greg McConey might have just made a mistake. Something might have just happened that caused him to slow down. I think he got it to the wall.
No caution. We stay green. Yes, that could have been pretty tough. But we still keep going here as we quickly try to approach the halfway. This is the battle, though, for the championship lead for the finale. All in the back end, Cherry trying to find a way to get Bounty loose or to make a mistake. Clean air advantage for Bounty as D-Bolt is broken away by more than 2 seconds.
I'm telling you, Matt Cherry, even though he's the underdog, I think that he is really surging ahead as a favorite here. If he could just not make any mistakes, I mean, of course, we still have a lot of racing left to go, coming up to 115 laps remaining. I tell you, the person that's really desperate right now has got to be Ryan Truex, as he's right behind TJ Lee right now. He just got by Justin Clapper.
There he is back there on the recovery drive as Lee goes into the wall. Right now, he needs to gain 2 seconds to rejoin the championship battle. Seems to be on shape to do it. He's got a little bit of space, though, to get up to Greg McConey for the next pass.
Yeah, that might not necessarily be a bad thing, you know, having some space to the next driver. It's just incredibly hard to pass at this racetrack, considering it seems like you're just so limited on what lane you can run. So I think he's probably a little bit glad to have a little bit of track ahead of him. Of course, D-Bold out front, 2 seconds. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if that bottom line, the way he was alternating, I guarantee you a lot of these crews are probably writing that down in the notebook.
That's if they have the notebook on hand, depending on the spotters, and that's going to be the question. So we'll see how this breaks down as the race goes on. Roger D-Bold, a part of Next Level Motorsports. Sean Bounty, his teammate, still in second in the championship advantage, though. And how difficult does it make it to talk about championship team battles? Cherry and Bounty are both also part of Next Level Motorsports. They are now battling for that championship lead with Ryan Truex about 10, 15 car lengths back on the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, even though they're teammates, I don't think that they're necessarily going to take it easy on each other, but they're definitely not going to wreck each other. Because if they do, they don't want to hand that. They want one of them to win the championship. They don't want to give it to Ryan And going back to Roger Debo, well, how successful he has been this season, he could have easily been one of our Lightning 4 as well. I mean, he has been another very consistent driver on the longer runs, and he's showing that right now at this moment. Oh, Cherry into the wall again. That was a little bit of a bigger hit there. This could line him up for Matt Garrett. He is very much struggling with the handling of that 67 right now.
Not even a pounce up yet is the Tower Truex car. But all the handling is starting to drop back, and he's in the wall again. This could be trouble if Cherry is starting to pick up damage from all this. Ryan Truex is now within about 7 car lengths to try and make the pass for second in the Lightning 4 seating.
And you can see Matt Garrett trying to line up this pass, but Cherry is some reason getting very, very tight right now. As, of course, the sun as well has, I do believe, gone down here at Homestead, or is close to going down. We see the lights are on. I'm going to have to take a look at the track temp, see if anything has changed here, because it looks like maybe the condition, maybe the rubber's getting laid down as well, has changed out here.
It has dropped down about 6 degrees Fahrenheit, believe, give or take. So it is getting a little bit cooler now that the nighttime skies float on above the racetrack. Garrett still keeping close to Cherry in the midst of all this. Here comes Ryan Truex to make the pass on his teammate.
What a recovery from Ryan. I mean, looking at lap time wise, I mean, he is multiple tenths faster than Boundy and Cherry. I mean, last time by, actually, Boundy was well off the pace compared to even Cherry, who has been struggling a little bit here.
Now looking for the opportunity, though, to reel things in. Cherry has closed the gap back up nearly to Boundy. Can he make it work is the question. The mindset coming in can be plainly stated by your Discord respective activity. You know what the activity tag is for this team for Ryan Truex? Winners. Ryan Truex looks to try and make a winning move to try and take second in the seating. He is clear.
Oh.
Yes, that was almost close.
Wow. I bet Matt Cherry doesn't like Ryan Truex right now, because that was a bold move. I'll tell you, that was confident right there of Ryan to make that sort of a move. I mean, he barely got clear there of Matt Cherry. And Cherry, you could tell, just reacted a little bit poorly to it. It got into the wall here, and he's going to get a big run up to the back of the 56.
Losing ground again. Cherry again, nearly scrubbing the wall. Not even halfway through the race for those just tuning in. And things intensifying for the championship. Boundy, Truex, and Cherry all close to one another. All separated by less than about a second.
Yeah, what a race so far for Ryan Truex, of course, getting by Matt Cherry. Big send. I'm wondering what that did for the tires, though, because that was a pretty big send. Here he goes, taking a page out of Diebold's book, kind of running lower on the track in 3 and 4.
Still not able to chomp into the gap too much here. Remember, pit stops are right around the corner for these drivers, just past this halfway point. And that could be the major playing difference for how the gaps play out here. They're all even, it looks like, in terms of their speed long run. But how are they going to be in terms of their timing of the pit stop with how big the undercut could be here?
That's a very good question. I think definitely, depending on how your performance goes on pit road, that could make or break this championship. I mean, all it takes is one little mistake. As here comes Cherry to the back end of Ryan Truex. He's caught up to his rear. You can tell he's definitely aggressively pushing the 56, trying to push him faster into the corner than he wants to go. Now, this is a big track that works. That works very well, actually.
Still unable to make the move back, though. That's the difference mark. And the more these drivers start to scrap a little bit, the more Bounty's starting to break away from things as Diebold's lead has dropped to under 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think this has all been according to plan for Boundy. I think he just knows exactly what lap times he needs to hit. I mean, he joined, this is kind of interesting. Sean Boundy joined the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, or actually was in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series a while ago. before we even started calling that series, and has actually had a reunion with them. And it was interesting to see him out there. But I even talked about it last night. You know, Sean can go toe-to-toe with actual real-life drivers and very, a lot of different talented people. And always, a lot of times, comes out on top. I mean, he's an Xfinity Series champion in this series. So it's no wonder that he's doing so well. I mean, I think he's just a very calculated driver.
That's going to keep much of the year when it comes to Bounty's case especially. Still no poke back from the 67. He's trying to pressurize the fender, though. Just not able to do too much. Keep in mind, a majority of the rivals, what in this decision? Ryan Truex, I think, might have been feeling he might have been holding Cherry up.
I'm not sure. I think that Ryan maybe just thought that Matt was being kind of aggressive on his back bumper. He also could have maybe took some of the air off of the spoiler, because, I mean, Cherry was right on his rear end. And a lot of times with the car, especially these next gens, when someone's right on your rear end, it kind of maybe disrupts the diffuser air and could cause handling woes. And I think maybe that's what was happening with the 56.
And this is a bad time for the handling to go away. For the race lead, Bounty has closed the gap to Diebold, and now the pressure's on to the Ford Mustang up at the front.
Yeah, it looks like Diebold's going to give him that top side, so he's going to pretty much let him go. I think he's like, you caught me from 2 seconds back. I mean, yeah, pretty sure I'm just not going to be able to hold you up.
You can hear the discussion from here. Bounty and Diebold from Next Level Motorsports now side by side. Diebold not making it fully easy, but Bounty drives on the outside and retakes the lead. Cross flags up in the air, halfway down in the championship race for Thunderclap. Bounty in control of his destiny. He has the championship lead by 1.3 seconds over Matt Cherry now. Pit stops just a couple laps away. And Diebold is falling off like a cliff in terms of his tire speed.
Yeah, and of course, Roger Diebold being on the same team as Bounty, he's probably going to be trying to possibly hold up Ryan Truex here. But we're coming up on pit stops here. I do believe in the next 4 or 5 laps. Fuel window, we have reached the end of it here. These guys are probably starting to run really low on the gas.
See the field distances on the right side of your screen right now, as well as some of the biggest movers and shakers throughout the field. Biggest mover still is Cherry, as to be expected with them losing a lot of ground in the early going because of qualifying speed. Also doing well tonight's corner in the 16, but 15 seconds back in the leader, +4.
Definitely not a bad day for Joshua Corner, for sure. And that 60 machine, of course, sitting in 10th place.
And that would be the car that was also in the midst of the wall incident with Jurassic and company, but he was the last of the cars in the incident. He was the one who got the aftermath of the barrels.
He was kind of a victim, too. I mean,
he changed the paint scheme, though, to airheads. Do you know what an airhead is?
I have no clue.
We're talking about candy.
Flag stops here. Sean Bounty coming down pit road and Ryan Truex. Matt Cherry electing to stay out.
So the leaders are in the championship fight. Lee joins them. The first pit stops under green for the race. Well, they execute well is the question mark. Seems to be the matching call from Truex to keep up with Bounty here. Does Cherry respond next lap?
This is interesting. This is a little bit early, in my opinion, but I think this could be a gamble to kind of cut off anybody from short pitting them.
Very close off the race on pit road nearly, but still separate a couple seconds. Diebold close to the wall there, but Cherry has lost a lot of ground all of a sudden. So what has happened to Cherry in the midst of that? Garrett and McConey have passed him, and this could be big for Cherry's chances.
Yeah, maybe something happened. I'll have to take a look back at this. I think we have a replay dialed up, and it looks like maybe Cherry might have got into Diebold.
He missed pit road. Look at this angle. Too much speed on the apex, and the slide has to back out of it.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker right there. That's going to be a costly mistake. He's going to have to hope for a caution or something to get him back into this.
And as two fans follow along with the action, Cherry losing at least 5 to 7 seconds on the track because that one mistake he just pit in lifetime just now.
Roger Debold back out front right now. He's got about a 1.8 second gap to Greg McConey right now. Of course, we just saw the leaders pit. Matt Cherry making a little bit of a mistake off pit road. He's coming off of pit road right now.
So there's a look at the pit stop right now for Garrett Clapper, still in the pit lane as well. Diebold still going as long as he can. Remember, he has less tire sets. McConey doing the same. Burleson, Corner, Nielsen, Condon on the same call. Clapper still finishing up service. A lengthy stop there for Clapper.
I'm surprised Diebold has made it this far. He's 40 laps into this run. He's got to be trying to save gas here. He's got to be running really on fumes. Should be coming down anytime. If he stays out another lap, I'd be very, very surprised. Here he comes. I think he's slowing down now. Here he comes. Diebold to pit road.
That puts the playoff contenders back on the lead lap. We'll see where the Delta now shuffles when it comes to Cherry's deficit. Jurassic now 4 laps down with the damage. But Cody also coming in. You just seen their Corner and Nielsen alum just yet to come down as well. So you can see kind of what the deficit right now. What's the damage between the mistake on the pit road entry and now for Cherry? 10 seconds is where it's settled out, Brian.
That's a lot. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot to our viewers at home, but it is. It is a ton on this racetrack. And to be able to make that up, I think, without some sort of caution or without Boundy or Truex making a mistake, it's going to be next to impossible. If he makes that amount of time up, by the time he even gets up to those guys, even if he is able to, he's going to have burnt his stuff up.
But need some luck to be able to come out on top of the Lightning 4. There's Cherry on the backstretch. The air contenders are already on the front straightaway. What do you think's going through his mind right now, knowing he needs luck, but at a track that's known for green flag runs and having a 16-car grid with just 13 running on the track, cautions are not going to be easy to get here.
No, not at all. And especially all these drivers are fairly used to driving this racetrack now. They've gotten plenty of laps to get accustomed to their race cars. To be honest, I think what's going through his mind right now is he's probably dwelling on the simple fact that he made such a crucial mistake. But that's one thing you can't do. You gotta try to, kind of take your mind off of it and focus on the road ahead. But I know for a race car drivers, it's very difficult to not dwell on a mistake like that, especially in a championship race. I mean, this is just, he came into here already unlikely as a championship, driver, but he has proved that he is capable. But I think that he's going to come back next year if he makes it to the next Lightning 4 next year, and he's going to really probably try to avoid things like that. He's going to practice pit road, I guarantee you that.
Up at the front, though, Boundy has settled to a 1-second gap over Ryan Truex. Lap traffic. And that is Robert Condon, who's lost his first lap. Robert, you also have Damian Neeson, who's lost a lap in the midst of the strategy. Here's a look from the 25. He also went with the Miami Vice colors, and that's not going to be the helpful line. That's Dirty Air for second.
I'm sure Ryan Truex not very much appreciating that. But here comes Truex. He got him on the straightaway, so he should be able to get him into this next corner. Yep, he's able to get by. Of course, that definitely did not help out Ryan Truex very much. Now the gap from first to second separated by about 0.7 to 0.8.
I was about to say, he just gained 0.2 despite the dirty air. I'm not sure how. Outside a draft down the front stretch.
Yeah, for sure. It worked out somehow. I mean, even last time by, he was, like you said, about 0.3 faster than Boundy, and he's now a half a second back. So I don't know. Ryan Truex definitely showing a lot of speed.
It looks like he's going to the bottom well, though. Remember, Roger Debo made the bottom work? It looks like he's the one driver who may have found some paper in the car and said, let's jot that down for now.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's paying off. I mean, but then again, we also saw Roger fall back on the long run. He started losing a little bit of pace. Now, that could have easily been about saving fuel because, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Roger's a hard person to read.
Well, that's actually a pretty accurate depiction sometimes of the strategy when it comes to Roger Debo for Dirty 8. Right now, he's in 4th, by the way, from the overcut call. He's about 7 seconds back.
Yeah, and of course, he's already kind of playing this game on the back foot, to be honest with you, just considering he's down a tire. I mean, he's kind of already at a disadvantage in a lot of ways. Not sure why he made that call earlier in this race, but only Roger Debo knows.
There's a look at the differences on the tire strategies. And you can see the differences on tire stints. This is actually a good indicator on some of this too. You see how there's the difference in the color patterns between some of the stops. Clapper also had a top off, I believe, as well. That's why there's that little difference as well. Bounty, though, still gaining time again. So the top line all of a sudden has worked out better for the 35 again.
Yeah, I think Sean Bounty's in a really good place. But then again, I mean, he should not get complacent. I mean, Sean Bounty could easily make a mistake here, even though it's not very normal for a guy like Bounty to make a mistake. But keep in mind, though, I mean, Bounty's got 3 wins this season. Ryan Truex has got 8. Like, this guy has won almost as much as Jordan Jurassic has gotten poles. I mean, I just don't know if you can really sleep on that 56. He's going to find a way, and he always does.
Now, keep in mind, there is a statistic that comes into play in terms of the consistency we talked about. When we talk about top 10s, we mentioned 20 for Bounty coming into this championship finale. He's got more top 10s than Ryan Truex has starts this season. Truex only started 19 races coming into tonight.
Yeah, and also keep in mind as well that Ryan Truex, whenever he was moving through these rounds, he won in order to move through every round of the competition. I mean, he won, didn't race, and then the next round won, didn't race. You know.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, here's the other big thing. Ryan Truex winning his 19 races, 14 top 10s, all with the 8 wins. 73% in the top 10. Bounty was actually more consistent overall. He had an 83% top 10 percentage, the best of all full-time drivers.
Yeah. Bounty, he's very, very consistent. So this is going to be a tough battle. I mean, and if these guys stay within a second of one another for this entire race, it's definitely going to be tough to call who's going to win it. I mean, they're very, very close when it comes to pace. And I definitely can't predict who is going to get it. I think it's all going to come down to mistakes. I think that Bounty is the one. He just has to make. If he makes a mistake, I mean, it's his race to win right now. But if he makes a mistake on pit road, that's definitely going to be the key here.
So once again, 80 laps to go here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Sean Bounty continuing to control his destiny in the Thunderclap iRacing Series Championship race presented by TLC Incorporated. He leads by about 0.8 of a second over Ryan Truex. Matt Cherry about 9 seconds back. Jurassic 3 laps down amongst your Lightning 4 drivers. Let's take a quick side-by-side. You're watching Grid Vision.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the Thunderclap iRacing Series Championship Race presented by TLC Incorporated. TLC Incorporated includes services such as custom lawn sprinkler systems, custom landscape and outdoor lighting systems, and more. Call 888-PIC-TLC for more information. Currently working away towards 70 laps to go, as we have Sean Bounty still in the lead. Ryan Truex closing the gap slowly, though. It's back to under 3/10. Right now, they are 1-2 in the championship and 1-2 on the track.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is kind of interesting. Truex is very much closing in. Now a 10th separate these two drivers, very close to going side by side. And we're already almost at the end of the fuel window. I do believe in about 10 laps or so, we're going to possibly see another green flag stop. As there they go, almost side by side for the lead. Truex trying to get the run on the bottom side.
I'm going to get alongside. They have, mind you, a 9-second cushion to Matt Cherry. So it's likely to these two. If it stays green, another send. Bounty close to the wall. Ryan Truex trying to round the bottom. Can't make it work yet.
Also seeing a very entertaining race back here for 4th place. Roger Debo made a huge send on Matt Cherry and almost got into Cherry and got a little bit loose, fell back, of course, back to 5th place, and of course is now being challenged somewhat by Greg McConey, I should say.
See that right now with Roger Debo in the backdrop. McConey still trying to make a pass on that. Ryan Truex in turn having to regroup. So there's a look at that back of the front now. Coming to 70 to go on the dot. So now it's going to be the matter two. Can Ryan close up? He struggled at the end of the run last time. Can he fix this time?
Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be curious. I mean, I think the closer he gets to Bounty's rear as well, the less downforce that he's able to put on that front nose. And I think that's got to be a big deal here. And that's why he's kind of, I think, going to the bottom to try to find some clean air.
Still like taking the peak. Still not able to make the rotation. And keep in mind, if they start getting side by side, Matt Garrett might have a chance to try and break things apart a bit. One of the Truex teammates.
Yeah, he's definitely showing some significant speed. And I think Matt Garrett earlier in this race was not handling as well. He looks like he's doing a lot better than he was previously. I'll tell you, this race for fourth, though, is heating up still. D-Bold is almost bump drafting Cherry into the corner here. I would not be surprised to see these guys maybe even have some contact. Oh, there goes Cherry into the outside wall.
3 teammates from NLM going side by side as a result of the contact. And Greg McConaughey stays on behind, trying not to play too much of a factor. Now the teammates look to have some fun, it looks like.
Say if Roger Debo wasn't trying, if he was not trying to be a factor here, I don't know what he's doing, because he sure has been definitely toying with Matt Cherry. I guarantee you Cherry's probably not too happy with Roger right now.
I'm more so thinking they're all three working together as a team, saying, you know what? We're a corner of the track back. Let's have some fun. Let's see which the best the teammates can come into play. For the lead, Truex inside to the door. Can't get the rotation.
I think it's going to be next to impossible for Ryan to make this pass. I think that he's going to have to try to pass him on pit road. I think he's going to have to try to short pit him. I think that's one of his only options.
Is that going to be a viable play at Homestead-Miami, though, is my major question.
I think it is. I mean, I think if Ryan can get in front of Bounty and put him on the other end of this, it's going to be hard for Bounty to make that pass, I think. I mean, he's got to try something, because, I mean, it just seems like it's about impossible to make this pass. As long as Bounty keeps holding that top side, he's not going to be able to get around him unless Bounty hits the wall or something.
Bounty's still holding his line, though. And Ryan Truex now losing the ground once again. By the way, Matt Garrett hasn't gained too much time since they started going side by side for moments. Staying 1.5, 1.6 seconds back or so. And most of the drivers I've noticed have had the trend, when they've been close to all three, or at least two together, they've been trying to back up and stay out of being a factor of this championship.
Another idea that maybe Ryan could try to do here.
Oh, Bounty lifts off the gas, and he's pitting. He's going to be the one with the undercut.
Wow. I think he's kind of going pretty fast to get to pit road there. I'm curious if he's going to get caught speeding. That was pretty quick to get on pit road.
And that seemed to be a very quick call to try and make that.
I don't know about that. That's an interesting. He pitted on lap 30 of his stint. That's really early.
He has to be trying to break this last stint in half, though. But does Ryan Truex counter? Or does he go the top-off route?
Yeah,
he's going the counter.
I'm really curious, though. I really want to see if Bounty got a penalty, because how fast he came. Well, I guess he didn't. I mean, he came in there very aggressively, and he had to be incredibly close to a speeding penalty there. But man, it just shows just how talented of a driver he is. As we're going to take a look at the replay, I do believe of him coming to pit road, because I mean he was flying. This was such a sudden call.
Then over here, it's like, you know what? I'm going to make this very difficult. He's running the bottom. Let's get the speed. Gets it done.
Wow.
Gets the service. Matt Cherry is also in.
He didn't waste any time there. I mean, that was about as perfect of a entry to pit road as you could probably get.
Cherry just rolling off the pit lane. That's how big the difference is. He's likely going to lose a little bit more ground. Look at that exit, though. Ryan Truex has picked up a lot of ground. He didn't lose anything with one lap fresher tires now.
Yeah, but Bounty came up and got right back by him. I think Truex was hoping that he was going to be able to kind of jump up in front of him, but unfortunately that was not the case. So even though Bounty looked like he had an awesome pit stop, he still did, but Truex still matched him, I think, step for step when it came to his performance on pit road.
In fact, he got a little bit closer again on that exit. Matt Garrett, by the way, still yet to pit, is just in front of them. There's a look at the pit deltas. Debo and McConaughey, along with Clapper and Burleson, also yet to take service.
Here goes Garrett to pit road. Of course, he's going to be pitting from the lead here. That should, I do believe, give Debo the lead here. Now, of course, Debo this doesn't surprise me considering he went 40 laps on that last stint. I would suspect he's probably going to do that same thing here.
That's usually been his trend, trying to stretch the gas. He's still in a spot where it's a likely top off at the end. But again, the reason you think about if you come in at that time is probably try and make sure you get tires for that final stop. And from what it looks like, if they go, say, even 30 laps again, or even to 35, you're talking about pit stops around 30 to go, if not the final 35 laps.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think that that's pretty accurate. This is going to be interesting. I mean, it's crazy to see how green this race has been as well. And, of course, we did see a caution for accident for cause earlier in the show. But from then on, it has been pretty much clean and green. And that has caused, I think, even more of the pressure to build on these Lightning 4. Of course, Matt Cherry, I think, did he get a penalty or something? Because he is now
one lap down. Well, he's still yet to take. Well, he's still not yet to pass Debo. That's how far back he is. So I'm not too concerned, I think you could say on that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of pit stops, McConey is in. But eventually, Truex, you have to think, if he wants this championship, can't be the second running the entire race. He needs to make a move.
Yeah, I think he's trying to do that right now. You can see he's coming up side by side. Of course, in that first stint, he was about a second back and closed it in and really started putting the pressure on Bounty. This time, this run, he's a lot closer to Bounty. So I think that maybe he could use these resources a little bit more successfully now to try to make this pass stick. But I don't know. It's still going to be really tough to make this pass on the inside. But Bounty does have Ryan Truex has a lap fresher tires. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but at a track like Homestead, that can be significant enough.
It can be in terms of your ability to be able to attack in the early going, yes. Once they equalize, not so much. So usually you want to capitalize about this time. Couple drivers yet to pit. Let's take a look at what happened to this green and black machine. Oh. Big slides from Damian Neeson. No caution, though. This nearly did draw one.
Yeah, that would have been interesting to see how that would have affected the race, though. If a caution came out, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody, for the most part, would stay out because there's just not a lot of wiggle room that you can really take on strategy here.
Yeah, we're still outside the estimated window with green light to make it on gas at about 40 to go.
Of course, Roger Diebold still out on the racetrack, one of the last drivers to pit. Of course, him and Anthony Burleson.
Difference between them is still 19 seconds, though. That's the major difference. Diebold's been good all night. Burleson has had some struggles in these past few stints, to the point where Bounty and Truex are nearly about to pass him for second. Just like that, Burleson is in. So scratch that point. They are now in second and third.
Now, Roger Diebold reaching the end of his run here. He's about 38 laps into his stint, now 39. And, of course, Matt Cherry has just unlapped himself. He's now up to the 5th place position. Of course, he still has, I do believe, about 10 seconds, a little over 10 seconds to get up to Ryan Truex.
It'll be a little bit tight when it comes to that margin. We'll see. And it looks like this might be the call right here. He's back to the bottom. Slowing it on down as low as he can. He's at the end of the tank, so he'll have to make one more stop. And nearly, yes, he does hit the wall.
That is significant. Roger Diebold definitely creaming his, I do believe that was his right side fender, or should I say left yes. front fender. That is a big damage. Ooh.
No caution, we stay green, but that may be Roger Diebold and is 9 in contention done there. Let's take a look at the replay. Pit entry at Homestead can be very tricky. Remember, with the current configuration, you don't need to take that access road, but you need to get on the binders, not the tires.
Oh, yeah, that was a big hit right there, and would not be surprised to see he's got some toe issues or suspension. I think that's probably going to possibly even be day done for the 38. Unfortunate to see at the end of his season like that, and yes, he was kind of a little bit of an out of the box thinker when it came to strategy tonight, and I was curious to see how that was going to work, and unfortunately, we're not going to get to see.
Already lost a lap as a result of the damage repairs, but we're coming up to 50 to go. Hit window for the final stops about 20 laps away. Lap traffic again. Jordan Jurassic is back at the bottom. Bounty still running his preferred top groove. Ryan Truex still running his preferred bottom groove, at least for the time being. And Jordan Jurassic has been, for the most part, fairly cordial when it comes to the situation. About to lose his 4th lap again. And Ryan Truex already setting things up on the top, knowing what's coming.
Still so heartbreaking for the 6 machine. I mean, and I gotta say, hats off to see him still out here driving. I mean, he could easily have given up. I mean, just saying, hey, all right, that's it. There's no, but no, he's still out here turning laps. I mean, that's got to be, it's just got to be a painful experience to be out here turning laps and not have a chance to win a championship when you clearly had a really good shot here tonight. It's just, it's heartbreaking, but he's handling it with class.
Now it could get interesting, though, because Ryan Truex trying to set things up here. He's back to the bottom side again, not liking to run in Bounty's dirty air, it seems. Corner, by the way, having to come back to the pit lane. Believe he's just taking the service now, in fact. So pit stop window fully complete. Ryan Truex looking back to the bumper as they still cannot pass the 6.
Yeah, and it's the dirty air, I do believe. And Ryan Truex, of course, kept going on the bottom and was catching pretty much Jurassic's dirty air. So definitely at this point in the run, it seems dirty air is very, very significant. And my thoughts are, what if the 56 and the 35 battle each other really hard, and they maybe even wreck each other and get physical? That puts Matt Cherry back in this fight.
He's 14 seconds back, Cherry is, so you never know what can happen. But right now, Ryan Truex nearly to the wall. He's trying to set up the run again. Bounty a little bit lower from the wall. Truex can't get alongside to take advantage yet, but he does have the better speed off the exit.
Yeah,
and he's lifting early.
And if Ryan gets his nose above the 35 here, he'd probably be able to get a pass completed here. Because you see Bounty, I think, is a little bit more hesitant to run as close to the wall as Truex is. But here we go. I think Bounty's Truex is setting something up.
An earlier lift point, tries to get up high. Bounty gets even higher this time. That takes the air off Ryan Truex's nose. Coming up to 45 laps to go. Jurassic starting to pull the speed back away from the leaders. Ryan Truex on the send again to the inside.
It just seems so incredibly difficult to pass at this racetrack. I mean, it's got to be infuriating for these drivers, but I mean that's what you kind of want. You want a track that's gonna challenge these drivers. I mean, to be a champion, you have to be able to go through trials such as this.
No 1 car length difference, no major shrinkage this time down the straight. In through 3. Truex again gets alongside, gets a small edge on the nose. But Bounty still holds serve on the top.
That was about the best chance he had. He really sent it that time and got alongside of him almost. If he had just been a little bit quicker, might have got clear. Another big send.
This is his best chance to pounce right here. Still alongside, down the back behind.
This track is all about momentum, and unfortunately, it's just so hard to maintain that momentum on the bottom. And Bounty is doing exactly what he needs to do. He's like, I know exactly what I need to do. I need to hold this top line. If I give him this top line, that Truex is going to get past him. But he's not going to give it to him.
I mean, it's for a championship. Why would you give it to anybody?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, Bounty, he wants to win this title just as bad, I do believe, as Ryan Truex. I mean, he's already the Xfinity champion. He's going to want to try to get the overall championship as well.
Now we're set up from Ryan Truex, not fully close enough yet again. And we are just about in the green light for them on fuel. Next time by, if not the lap after that, expect drivers to be able to potentially make it on gas. These drivers we've seen, based on their pit stop decisions, likely to come in about 10 laps after that. Lap 160 coming up this time by. And another peak, not able to get alongside for now. More traffic is approaching, or they are approaching more traffic, should say. Jurassic is still up there, but now they are approaching corner again.
And I definitely could play a role in this. I mean, I guarantee you Sean Bounty does not want to have to deal with any traffic here with Ryan Truex right here waiting in the wings. I mean, any mistake getting through traffic.
Oh, he's trying to slam the door now. He goes to the bottom. Coming to 40 laps to go. Ryan Truex gets alongside of the bubble.
Yeah, and it looked like Sean Bounty just did not handle that lower line as well as Truex has been. This is a big chance. This could be it. Not quite. Oh, man, I thought he was going to get clear there.
Side by side out of turn 2. Bounty holds on.
I don't really like this. I don't like what Bounty did in those last couple corners. He really, kind of changed his pattern, and that car just does not seem to be handling as well on the bottom as Ryan Truex is. And you just have to be used to driving it down there. And of course, him running at the top so long has worn his tires in such a way that I don't know if he should necessarily go on the bottom. I don't think the car would handle as well down there.
Here's a look on board for Ryan Truex. This is from the helmet between the headrest and the Hans device. And he's barely even having to turn the wheel. That's how comfortable he's in that car.
Yeah, very, very accurate, very deliberate movements with that wheel. I mean, you can see every little bitty move that he makes on that wheel is purposeful.
Back up to the top. Bounty trying to go a little lower for the exit. How does this now set up now on the run? Davey Neeson now in turn is right in front of him as well.
Yeah, this is going to probably come down to the wire. I think these two drivers are going to probably be together for the rest of the race, and it's going to come down maybe even to this final pit stop, which I do believe the window is open.
Window indeed is open for them to make it on fuel from here. It's now up to them when they take this final stop. And there goes Neeson trying to stay out of the way. Neeson falls to 3 laps down with this.
Yeah, good on him. Really hats off to him for getting out of the way. I mean, he could have easily been somewhat of an impediment, but he was like, no, I don't want it.
Oh, my!
Bounty again with a late race decision. Oh, wow.
Did he make it on the speed limit? That was close. He nearly got hit by Ryan Truex on the call.
Wow. That was definitely another last-second decision. He's trying to catch him off guard, and it's working, but it almost is working to his detriment. It almost caused an accident, to be honest with you. I'm curious. Let's keep an eye. Did Bounty get a speeding penalty on this one?
See how this plays out. Does Ryan Truex respond? Yes. Ryan Truex with a long send-on in, and this is likely for the championship. No penalty for Bounty. Off and away he goes. So now where does Ryan Truex cycle on his entry?
Wow. Bounty is definitely keeping us guessing up here in the booth, that's for sure. And let's see what happens. Of course, Bounty's going to have 1 lap older tires than Truex again when we come to the end. These guys are going to have about 34 laps to go here.
Still waiting for the left side tires for Ryan Truex. He's up on the jack. Race off the line. Bounty is in turn 4, coming down the front stretch. Where does Ryan Truex rejoin? Remember, the last pit window, Ryan Truex's strength was his time picked up on entry and exit. Bounty to your left. Ryan Truex coming off the access road. Ryan gets passed by John Bounty. Bounty holds on.
What I find so impressive, Justin, is looking at Sean Bounty and Ryan Truex's time spent on pit lane. Oh, Truex into the outside wall a little bit there. That's no good. But, of course, he does recover. I think he's going to be okay. But he does have, I do believe, about a half a second back to Bounty, or up to Bounty. But going back to what I was getting ready to say, 38.3 seconds is what they both hit the exact same amount of time on pit lane. Now, isn't that something? I mean, that's just crazy to see that those guys matching each other step for step on pit lane.
Now, the matter is, can Ryan Truex get a few more footsteps to the back bumper of Bounty again? It took him a few laps last time, but they still have some time to work with up on the board. 32 laps to go. Bounty still in control. Is this going to be the night he becomes a Thunderclap champion for 2023?
I think if he keeps doing what he's doing, I think he's got it. I don't know, though. I mean, has Ryan shown his full hand? I mean, it looks like he's been fighting to try to get past Bounty. Oh, there goes Garrett coming down pit road right in front of the drivers there. Luckily, I don't think he impacted that race for the lead, or for the net lead, I should say.
You'll have McConey yet to come down to pit, as well as Clapper. Then that likely to close the window.
What a job for both of these drivers, of course. Ryan Truex, winningest driver this season. 8 wins on the season. But just like anything, you can lead every lap of a race except for the last one. That's the one that counts. Ryan Truex has to win this race.
Here comes Ryan Truex. He's trying the top side. Bounty staying the lane below again. And more lap traffic. Robert Condon at risk of losing time to the leaders. In fact, could lose a second lap now once things cycle. Clapper is in. And Ryan Truex to the inside.
Going to be some dirty air dumped on Bounty now from Condon. Hopefully that doesn't impact this race for the lead too terribly bad.
See how this factors on in. Here comes the peak now. Ryan Truex trying to get Bounty to follow along with the third 25 of Condon for draft.
Looks like Condon's going to kind of go to the bottom on exit there to try to get out of the way. A lot of these guys do not want to impact this race for the championship, and you can't blame them. It's the honorable thing to do.
Pit cycle has closed, though. Lap traffic has moved off and away. Let's take this chance for one final side-by-side. Less than 30 to go. The Lightning 4 battling across the track. First, second, fourth, and 11th. You're watching Grid Vision.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
The battle for the championship coming down to two drivers. Sean Bounty and Ryan Truex stay close within couple car lengths for the Thunderclap title presented by TLC Incorporated. Several times during the side-by-side, Ryan Truex trying to take peeks alongside. No dice on any of those moves.
Yeah, he has definitely been trying desperately to make something happen here. Oh, he moves to the top. Loses a little bit of pace, but I think he's trying to build some sort of run down the backstretch. And here he comes. Big momentum up to the back of the 35. Not quite able to get there. He sends it down into 3 and 4.
He's tried this all night long, especially in this third stage, but each time, nothing has come through fully for the 56. Keep in mind, Matt Garrett, the highest running non-postseason driver in the championship battle night. He's in third, 5 seconds nearly back. Matt Cherry is still nearly 15 seconds back of the lead.
Yeah, just a heartbreaker for Matt Cherry, but got to give him a lot of credit. I mean, the guy kind of messed up in qualifying, started in 8th place, but quickly started driving through the field. Definitely has a fast race car. Oh, it looks like we're close to some contact there between Anthony Burleson and him. Looks like Burleson does get out of the way, though, but still side by side for the lead as Ryan Truex still tries to load another shot up.
20 to go. Will this be the one that works? No. It seems like the best he can do is get the nose in front, and that's all.
Well, I mean, if he comes down to the, the checkered flag and he's able to have that nose in front, on the start-finish line, then, that'd be okay. But, I mean, I just don't think he's getting that run exactly where he needs it to happen.
And again, from what it looks like, he wants to do this the clean way. He doesn't want to do this the dirty way for a title. No one wants to win the championship off the bump and run or the slam and run or anything along those lines. He's trying to get this done as much as he can the respectful way on that bottom side.
Yeah, just by mano y mano. Let's race it out. Win it the right way, earn respect. I mean, that's what we're seeing here from these two drivers. They're paying each other a lot of respect. This is a competition. This is not, they're not so obsessed with winning.
Oh, look at this, though. Ryan Truex trying to get the peeling off the wall.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
He almost got there. Like I said before, if he can get his nose above Sean, I think he might be in a good spot. But then again, I talked about how Sean, whenever he goes down to the bottom, he seems like he struggles down there. I think the same could be true for Ryan, considering that car has been running on the bottom a lot of this race, and his tires are probably showing evidence of that.
Trying to get the side draft down. But Bounty still has the preferred line. And that's the tough part. Even when he's side by side down the straightaway, because he doesn't clear, that hurts him for the next set of corners to make a pass, and it takes 3 laps to regather it.
Yeah. They go side by side once again. And you just love to see this. Two different approaches to this racetrack.
Oh, he might have just led the lap there, actually, Brian. There he goes for the lead.
And he takes the lead. How did this happen?
What's going on with Sean Boundy here?
Something has definitely gone wrong, because all of a sudden, Ryan Truex just surged past.
I don't know if it was as simple as licking the stamp. Boundy all of a sudden has just fallen off like a rock.
I am not sure. That is oddly confusing. I mean, he was a half a second slower that last time by and still losing pace. This is definitely curious. What has just happened? Ryan Truex is now your leader and pulling away.
So the pace all of a sudden has flipped like a switch. Ryan Truex has all of a sudden, with the pass, gained more than a second in the span of 2.5 laps. Boundy has led the most laps tonight, but Ryan Truex, with under 15 laps to go, now in control of the championship after keeping alongside of the start and finish and completing the pass in the next set of corners.
Wow. I mean, it almost looks like, if we were in a real life NASCAR race, I would almost assume that he has got an engine issue or something like that. But no, I mean, I can't wait to talk to him, to Sean Boundy. I hope we get the chance to figure out what exactly happened there.
Again, was it the matter of Ryan Truex having the pace but waiting for the chance and then breaking away once he finally cleared, or was it something else? With the 35, we'll have to hear post-race, because we're coming to 12 laps to go. Ryan Truex, who hasn't really led much all day today, but has been in the hunt all day today, now looks to win a title.
I mean, I guess maybe he was just holding, he had an ace in his sleeve and just was not showing anybody. And just was, maybe he has been toying with Boundy that whole time. Because, I mean, it seemed like he couldn't pass. That whole all those stints we watched these guys battle, it seemed like Boundy, or that Truex could not pass. But apparently, he was just playing. He was playing around.
Still 11 laps to go for the championship. Bounty still in second by at least 2 seconds. Lee is lap down. 2 laps down, in fact, right now.
Yeah,
and again,
battling with
go ahead.
TJ Lee. I was just noting on the fact that he's kind of fighting with TJ Lee right now, not really for position, but you can just see that Ryan Truex pulling off 2.5 seconds right now. Does Garrett catch up to Bounty? I mean, lap time wise, Garrett is a half a second quicker.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, but with 10 laps to go, about 5 minutes to go in the season, it's the 56 of Ryan Truex who controls his destiny now after making the move after more than 80 laps of pass attempts. He now leads by 3 seconds, the gap expanding to that in just the span of about 6 laps. Can the NASCAR Xfinity Series driver add a Thunderclap championship to his resume and repertoire? 9 to go on the season.
Yeah, I definitely think it's wholly possible. I mean, every race that this guy has won, he's won the most races this season. And like I said before, in every round of the playoffs, he has won his way in. He did not point his way in. He won his way in. And it looks like he might win his way into a championship.
About 8 laps to go. And it was already talked about, we discussed a little bit already in the talks for next year for the Xfinity Series. The matter of if it's full-time or part-time. It was talked about last month. Has been very busy in production work to see how things fare out for that 2024 landscape. But with 7 laps to go, he looks to try and complete the task at hand. All while Boundy, who controlled the race lead most of the night, is now at risk of losing second all of a sudden.
Yeah, this is heartbreaking for Boundy. I have no clue. Something had to have gone wrong here for this 35, a technical issue or something like that. But here comes Matt Garrett. He's probably going to take over second. And, of course, what a run for Matt Garrett. I mean, I know he necessarily hasn't had the best season, but I'll tell you, this post-race season, or this season here has been fantastic for him. I mean, he has really shown a lot of pace in that 3 machine. I definitely think he's going to be one to watch in the next season.
Especially at pace at tracks like Dover. And I could argue at least 3 times in the playoffs, he had a chance to win, to advance on forward in rounds. It just seemed like the luck at the end of those races just wasn't there. In races he dominated or led many laps in.
Yeah, and whatever was plaguing Sean Bounty seems like it might have fixed itself. Lap time-wise, he's actually faster than Ryan Truex, but a little too late. 4.8 seconds now as we come to 5 to go.
5 laps to go on the season. 8 times a winner on the campaign has been the 56. On the road to 9 Ws on the campaign. By far the season high. It's going to be a nail-biter, I think, or rather for some positions, yes. But for the title, it looks comfortable. 4 to go for the series all-time winner, looking for career win 16 and his biggest in Thunderclap.
Yeah, what an awesome season for that driver. Just, taking care of business all season long. Oh, almost got a wreck about to happen here for a second. Matt Garrett really sending it on Boundy right now as we come closer and closer to 3 to go.
He really wants that team 1-2.
Yeah, he does.
And he's just trying to hold on. Don't be the caution is the simple point. And the speed of the race leaders, keep in mind all night in this final stage. Ryan Truex has the chance to potentially lap McConey before this race is over to put just 4 on the lead lap, depending on how this closes out. There's a look at Truex. And McConey, in fact, 33 seconds back in the Delta, if you've noticed.
Yeah, I think he's just going to get lucky enough to stay on the lead lap. But, still a good race for Greg McConey. I know he had a very strong post-race season, even though he wasn't necessarily a playoff driver, or didn't make it to the round of 8. But here comes Ryan Truex. Of course, 2 laps to go, coming to the white flag.
Only 3 more sets of corners on the season. Coming down the front straightaway, coming to the white flag this time by 1 to go, brought to you by RL Productions. Ryan Truex, all season, has been a driver who can bring it to victory lane in anything with 4 wheels. His team called their shots coming into tonight. The team header entering the night through the local Discord server, winners. Guess what? Out of 3 and 4, Ryan Truex proves that call to be on point. Your 2023 Thunderclap iRacing Series champion is Ryan Truex. He wins at Homestead.
Yeah, what an awesome performance for Ryan Truex, winning the most races, 9 on the season, and the final one. What an exclamation point to an otherwise fantastic season. And he beat Sean Boundy in a head-to-head duel that pretty much lasted all race long.
It's his 9th win of the season. It's his 16th career championship win in Thunderclap action. And he gets it done for 2023 for the title fight in itself. Boundy does still hold on to second. What could have been for Sean after the momentum built up and the consistency coming in. But the driver to beat all year was car 56. Ryan Truex is a champion in Thunderclap.
Yeah, definitely got to be some disappointment there for Sean Boundy, disappointment for Matt Cherry, definitely some disappointment for Jordan Jurassic, but someone's going to hoist a trophy, and that's going to be Ryan Truex.
Double and triple burnouts as some of his teammates join in on the fun. Matt Garrett finishing inside the top 3 as well. Tyler Truex already joining in with Ryan to help him celebrate this championship victory tonight and his Toyota Camry. Unofficial race results, just 5 on the lead lap. Ryan Truex gets it done. He is your champion. Sean Boundy, second in the Lightning 4. He led the most laps, but fell back 7 seconds in 16 laps. Garrett in third. Matt Cherry, after his issues on pit lane, it cost him a chance at the championship. Finished 18 seconds back in 4th. Greg McCody, the last on the lead lap. Anthony Burleson finished 1 lap down. Everyone else 2 down or more. Lee, Condon, Corner, and Jurassic, to say politely, Heartbreak City for the 6th after issues during the end of stage 1.
Of course, Justin Clapper finished in 11th place, 20 laps down. Damian Neeson, 21 laps down in 12th. Roger Diebold had an off strategy, and it actually looked like it might have worked out for him. Unfortunately, had an issue to going to pit road. Major damage, finished 42 laps down in 13th. Kyle Newkirk, 14th. Brandon Schumann, unfortunately, is kind of one of the people that were involved in that accident that took out Jurassic. Finishes 15th. Robert Walton, of course, spun early, had some significant damage, and finishes in last in 16th.
That's all talked about, Matt. Tonight's running order here on Grid Vision. And your championship drivers are all standing by. So why don't we do it such as this? Let's start things off the way we've gone much of the season, from the end of the podium to the champion/winner. Jordan Jurassic, lots of questions towards him. We'll start him with the 6 car first. Jordan, I'll put it first. What was your reaction when the incident happened in the pit lane?
Oh yeah, I'd like to thank all the sponsors, whoever's supported us throughout the season. Minipiece.com's, Tri-State Marine, Roll Transport, G&K Management, iRacing Designs, and Wheel Transportation. We had a pretty fast Chevy Camaro for the race, as we got our 10th pole for the season and 2nd, 4th in a row pole. So yeah, I got to thank the guys back at the engine shop, and we have a pretty good season, 3 wins.
Okay, that didn't answer the question. What happened? Was your reaction from the pit lane situation that put you several laps down and last of the Lightning 4?
Just mistakes by other drivers, and couldn't really make a break for it. So nobody's gonna feel sorry for yourself. So I got to take the blame, since I was back in the pack anyways.
So in turn, how would you describe the season as a whole? 3 wins for yourself, including that big win at Iowa. But in turn, how would you describe the season as a whole?
The season's pretty great. I mean, we struggled for the first half of the season. I about quit because I was getting wrecked almost every race for the first half of the regular season, and then right as about middle of the season, and I started putting in the work, and I don't think any driver worked harder than me throughout the rest of the season than on. As you've seen, like the results got 3 wins and a lot of top 10s, top 5s, and we're contending and leading laps and winning stages. And I thought we were the championship favorites coming into this. We had a lot of momentum, a lot of good finishes, a lot of laps led, and unfortunate whatever happened in pit road. But as you see, I mean, we worked hard all season, and we never quit. Nothing was going to make me quit today.
Well, Jordan, there were talks of you putting in 2,000 laps tonight. Unfortunately, bad luck sets in. You still finish up as a Lightning 4 finishing driver. Congratulations tonight.
Thank you. I also want to give a shout out to my friends and family for all the support. It's been a pretty emotional, taxing season, and a lot of ups and downs. And I want to thank Justin Clapper, Justin White, and also you guys for putting on the show.
Jordan Jurassic coming away 4th in the Lightning 4 in 2023. 3rd spot in the Lightning 4 seating, Matt Cherry, a top 5 run again. He had speed and consistency to get himself into the spot. It's the pit road mistake to start off the pit cycles in stage 3. That's the major deciding factor. He's with Brian.
Matt Cherry, how you doing, man? I definitely unfortunate to see you kind of make that little bit of a mistake on pit road or getting to pit road and having to go right back around the track again and then come down again. I mean, I bet you dwelt on that quite a bit, considering you had 100 laps still to go after that mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I was running right there with Sean and Ryan. You know, we was nose to tail. I was keeping pace with them. You know, I come off the track, I try to get on pit road just a little too hard, and it slung it completely right on me. And I tried to save it, but I knew if I would have went down pit road, it would have gave me a drive-through. So I just went on ahead. Went back on the round, but yeah, that's the only thing that lost me the racing tonight.
Now, what was going through your mind, you know, after that happened? Like, were you thinking of ways to possibly recover from that, or was it kind of just like, I have to have a caution happen?
Well, I was thinking of ways to recover from it, but I mean, it was just at that point it was impossible because, you know, the guys really didn't gain any time. Put any time on me there. I mean, I was keeping pace with them. It's just this car and everything. You just can't catch them.
No, 100%. I mean, and if you had tried to drive it even harder, you would probably have, you know, burnt the tires up, you know, even more. So unfortunate, you know, that kind of happened like that. But still, you finished 4th. I mean, you could have had, I guess, as bad a day as Jordan Jurassic did, but you know, at least finished in 4th place. A good, strong finish to kind of finish out the season. And you know, how did it feel as well coming into tonight's race as somewhat of the underdog? You know, the man had only won 1 race in this whole season, but you know, you still seemed like you were heating up at the right point.
Yeah, I mean, when the season first started, you know, I didn't have a great start to it. You know, about middle ways, you know, we started getting faster and faster, and you know, the competition over here is very strong, and you know, it's hard to win races when you got Brian here. Whenever he does race, you know, he does it for real. So you know, he knows what he's doing. But either way, man, you know, for me to get out here tonight and run as close as I did to him and him not get away, I mean, that's a win for me.
It's a great way to look at it, Matt. 100%. I mean, definitely a lot of respect, and that's a very good way to look at it for sure. How are you gonna, you think, tackle next season? You know, do you think you've learned some things from this one, and do you feel like you're going to be a lot more confident, kind of going toe to toe with these guys?
Well, yeah, I mean, next season, you know, I think it'll be a lot better. You know, just during the off season, you know, people's gonna have to, you know, get out, race a little bit. You know, that way they ain't getting where they ain't racing. That way they can keep a rhythm of driving clean, stuff like that. But yeah, most definitely next season it should be good. We'll have to knock the rust off of it, but we'll get going back to the way we are right now.
All right. Well, we definitely hope so because we have a feeling you'll probably be a contender again next year for sure. Matt, congratulations on the fourth place finish and, of course, even making it to the Lightning for it all. Who can we give a shout out after your season and your performance here tonight?
It's all the sponsors and everybody, all the admins, Justin, both Justins. You know, it's not easy to run a show like this, and I give it to them. They do pretty good. You know, they tell you how it is, the way it should be. But yeah, big shout out to all the sponsors and everybody.
All right, man. Well, definitely thanks for your time, and best of luck to you next season as well. Enjoy your break, or, you know, I'm sure you'll be getting pretty much to keep yourself sharp, but we'll see you next season, brother.
All right, I appreciate it. We'll see y'all.
Once again, third spot in the Lightning 4 going to Matt Cherry. Second spot. Lots of questions, too, for Sean Bounty. He led the most laps. He's with Brian.
Sean, that was definitely a little bit of an interesting circumstance there towards the end. It looked like you were having a fight with Matt Garrett, but a little bit before that, something happened to where Ryan Truex was able to just pass you while he hadn't been able to do that all race long. What happened? I mean, it just seemed like you all of a sudden lost a bunch of speed.
First of all, how did you like that show?
Oh, it was great. You guys put on a heck of a show, side by side for lap after lap after lap, and man, it was awesome.
I had a moment to calm down. I'll tell you about that, but man, I appreciated that race this season. Congrats to Truex. Basically, I lost it. That was 100% my fault. But going back to our last pit stop, I queued up several times that I was gonna pit, and it didn't trigger. And by the time I committed to going down the track out of turn 3 and down to the bottom in turn 4, it finally triggered, but that wasn't enough time for Truex to realize that I was slowing down. And he got me real good in the rear end, and I skidded sideways and barely got it woed up before the commitment line, but I had 35 seconds of rear end damage, and as soon as they dropped the jack and I took off out of my pit box, the rear end was just all over the place. First 5 laps, it was like I couldn't turn the car, and then the tires kicked in, and I had a real good run. For the first 15 or so laps, 15-20 laps or so, on the tires, the grip itself on the tires, I was able to find a rhythm. But once the tires went away, the damage in the rear end, I had no aerodynamics in the back. So when I put the throttle down, it just wanted to spin out. That's about all the speed that I had. So once that happened, he attacked and got by me, and it was just saving the car. So 100% my fault there, and I could have bailed out and gone around and pitted the next lap. But yeah, it was just with no grip in the tires, and I was headed down the track. Kind of hard to bail out at the same time. But yeah, that's how that went down.
Well, that explains a lot. I mean, I know we saw how kind of abrupt that you had came down pit road, and it looked like Ryan Truex definitely kind of reacted to that. I did not see as much of the contact portion of that, so that's interesting that you got 35 seconds, and that apparently messed up your rear end suspension or something enough to affect you in that. Wow, that's definitely something you couldn't tell after. I mean, you really couldn't tell, I guess, until. From our standpoint, until you actually, until he made that big move, and it just seemed like all of a sudden a flip switched and your car started handling like trash.
Yeah, it did. The first corner, turn 3, after I came off pit road, I slammed that corner, and then again in turn 1, and I thought I was completely done for, but then I quickly changed my rhythm of how I got into the corner and let the car rotate way before I got back on the gas, and it was able to hold. And like I said, it was just 100% reliant on the rear tire grip at the time. Once that went away, there was just no aerodynamic left to push the rear end down and keep me from spinning out. So that battle with Garrett there at the end was pretty fun. I know sometimes, like, he and I were drifting hard up the track and we had a hard battle. Sometimes I thought, he backed off just because we were about to wreck each other. But I almost cued the radio and I said, "Don't give up." At that point, I was just having fun. I didn't have anything left. The car was gone. But we had an incredible season. Kind of glad Ryan came back to run this race, because for me, this track ran very similar to Darlington, and I won that race when he wasn't there. And I thought, man, it would be. I was wondering how a race like that would turn out, and for me, this track run very similar to that. So nice to see I gave him a bit of a fight, made him sweat it out a little bit before I screwed up.
Well, that's the thing about it is, I mean, I think that if you hadn't have made that mistake, or if that call to pit had have went through, you might have been hoisting the championship. And even though that's probably
I had that thought for the last 15 laps.
For sure, but either way, it's got to be also inspires hope that that you can go toe to toe with Ryan Truex, and you had a chance to come out on top. I mean, he was struggling. I mean, the stints before, he could not pass you. He could not pass you, and I think if that mistake hadn't happened, you probably would have been our champion.
Yeah.
But I mean, unfortunately, that's why you got to run all the laps. Mistakes happen, and that's just something that you're going to have to avoid next time for sure. But I mean, speaking of the future, next season, is that fire going to come right back, and are we going to see that Sean Bounty again?
Same story, different day. I'm looking forward to it. I had a lot of fun here, and yeah, I run the same way I do every week. Not much changes. The mental rhythm, physical rhythm. Just doing what I can, getting in the sim, and looking forward to next season.
Well, we look forward to it as well, Sean.
Well, in all fairness, he deserves it. Put a hell of a fight, but
Back, Austin, do you hear us?
Check 1 2. Okay. We have had apologies for the technical issues as Sean Bounty finishes second in the Lightning 4. Let's join in with the champion for 2023, Ryan Truex. You are a champion in Thunderclap. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it was a fun race, for sure. I feel like Sean was definitely better for most of the race. I hate that we got kind of caught together when he was coming to pit road there. Kind of messed his race up. I think it was going to be probably a really close finish if that didn't happen. Yeah, I had fun. It was cool how much the track changed from day to night. How much the line actually changed, at least for me. From running up against the wall to running the bottom of 3 and 4 in the long run to save tires and it actually paying off. It was pretty cool to see.
Now, when it came to the major factor, not sure if you heard Sean Boundy mention this. He said it was down to the pit call because he was having issues getting the pit call out for a full lap prior to that situation in turn 3 and 4. What was your viewpoint of all of that in that situation? As he clarified, there was 35 seconds of rear end damage that he was having issues with downforce the rest of that run.
Yeah, I didn't see. Basically, when I saw him say he was pitting was when he was turning off the racetrack, and I was, at the end of the run there, you're so free that if I would have just hooked a hard right to miss him, I would have probably hooked a right straight in the fence. So I tried to miss him as well as I could without also wrecking myself. But it was just too late, and like I said, it sucks that happened. But that's just kind of is what it is. Can't do anything about it now. But yeah, aside from that, I had fun racing with them. These cars are so tough in dirty air, and it's so hard to pass in general with these cars, and then you come to a track like this where the top prevails. It's just really tough to make it happen. If we were on the same playing field at the end there, I was gonna have to just drive it off in there and try to slide him and hope that he didn't get me back, because we were just so even that once I get in his tire tracks, try to follow him, try to run higher, even up by the wall, with all that turbulent air, I just get too free and wear my rear tires out basically every run. That's kind of what made me decide to run the bottom, especially in 3 and 4, because that was kind of my problem area on the top. And it definitely worked, saved tires, and just being able to not have to drive in high on the wall and grab a bunch of wheel, just be able to float it off in there, I think was the difference as far as tire wear. But yeah, glad it all worked out.
Now, in turn, this obviously builds a lot of momentum sim side now. Where's that mindset now focused to? You're now the Thunderclap champion. Obviously, it's most winningest driver by a sizable margin, to say the very least. Where's the now approach on the sim side, at least, heading to 2024, now with the championship from Thunderclap?
We'll see. We'll see if they let me come back.
I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, even, this year, kind of watching everybody else, how tight the field has gotten. Obviously, as the year goes on, we get closer to the end, you don't have the car counts. I think that's pretty much any series. But I feel like it's really competitive. And for me to be able to win, I have to put it all together and not make any mistakes. And when I do, I usually finish 10th. So it's definitely a fun series, very competitive, a lot of respect. So it's fun to run, and I get to run with Tyler and all my buddies from Jersey that I don't see very often, and hang out on Discord with them and have a good time. So I enjoy it. Hopefully, hopefully, like I said, they let me come back and do it again.
We'll see what happens indeed. And after all, getting ready for a potentially busy 2024 as well in the real world. Any hints you can give to that you are allowed to hint?
Not really.
Okay.
It's TBD, I guess. But yeah, we're still working on it. I'll be in the Xfinity series at some capacity. It's just a matter of how much, and I got a lot of stuff going on outside of the race car as well. Basically, long story short, I do a lot of sim driving, so that probably won't change. But hopefully the real world side, I'll be doing some more driving as well.
Well, I just got the confirmation for Justin White. Yes, you can come back. So you don't have to worry about that. But the floor is yours. Anyone you want to give a shout out to, now that you are a champion?
Well, obviously the fans in the stands for showing up, as always. Packed house here again, so that's always cool. Justin and Justin, I think, they obviously do a lot of work for this league, and it's definitely a lot more than I would want to deal with. And they do a good job of keeping people happy and doing what's right and making it competitive. And and serious without being overly serious. So it's been fun, and obviously Tyler and his buddies have, Matt Garrett and Greg, they've helped a lot. Matt does a lot of practice during the weeks when the rest of us aren't able to make it, and he's able to give us some good info. He helped me a lot actually for this race tonight. I think he ran some last night, so thanks to them, and yeah, just a good team effort, I guess.
Well, congratulations, Ryan. You're the Season 3 champion for Thunderclap.
Thank you.
Ryan Truex, once again your champion. He concludes your Lightning 4. And what was a busy 2023. I'd like to thank the entire Lightning 4 for taking the time to speak with us here on Grid Vision. Brian, your final thoughts of the season. An exciting championship fight. Execution was the main difference tonight. Ryan Truex, out of all 4 drivers, executed the most.
No, 100%. I mean, that's pretty much exactly what it was. I mean, Ryan Truex did not make a mistake. I mean, he did hit the wall a little bit, but it was not as bad as it could have been, for sure. I mean, the other drivers, when they made mistakes, it was a lot more costly, and also, had Jordan Jurassic with his bad luck. But, I mean, all in all, the whole season was just fantastic. It just was so exciting and entertaining to watch. And I just hope that Grid Vision continues to have such a great relationship with this Thunderclap iRacing Cup Series. Just considering, I mean, they just put on awesome shows, and I think it's a perfect partnership that we need to call this series. Because I mean, I know I speak for me, but I hope I speak for you as well. That I really like to watch these guys.
And on that note, it's time to say goodbye for the 2023 season. We'd like to thank you for tuning in throughout the campaign for coverage of the Thunderclap iRacing Series playoffs presented by TLC Incorporated. On that note, it's time to head off towards the darkness. For my colleague tonight, Brian Britt, for our producer, Austin Derbyshire, it's time to say so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and remember, as you walk down the road of life, ladies and gentlemen, remember, don't play in traffic. Good night.